been live this whole
Flatulent.
time.
Flatulizing fuckers.
There we go. Damn, took like 38 damn minutes to start the damn show.
Jeez Louise, Parker.
You stupid, useless piece of shit.
This is a warning to all living mortals. That who shall ever open this chest of demons will release 13 of the most terrifying ghosts upon the face of the earth. Okay, cut it. This isn't going to work. Let's try some nostalgia bait.
It's smiling strange. You looking happily deranged. I can't settle in bed. Or have you picked your target yet? It's ending. Got your dog bite. It's ending.
Okay, that was better. But let's try something a bit more cinematic.
Hey, where my broken arrows at? They try to tell us we can't fly. Like we too broken or something. I mean, I'd rather let them know. Balls up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. All the way up. Get them balls 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 all the way up. Broken arrows get bows up. Sometimes I pray with my nose up. Thinking about when the world crumbles and my whole squad just goes up. Ain't gotta worry, we straight like an arrow, yeah. Ain't gotta worry about faith, nope. I'm on that straight and the narrow, yeah. I just go straight like an arrow, yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit I like. Let's start the Barroom podcast. Take it away, Jacob.
Hey, there, everyone. Yeah, I know that sounded like a tough intro. We were literally just dying 5 minutes before the show started. Then StreamYard decided it was going to take 3 minutes to actually start the show. So we've had our ups and downs.
Okay, it was laughing too.
Yeah, we need to get his shit together. Put it that way.
I was slowly dying inside, but yeah.
That's because you're a humorless bastard. That's why. That's exactly why.
Humorless, yes. Bastard, no.
Bastard. No, that doesn't work well. No, never mind. Hell yeah, guys. This is episode 141 of the Barroom Podcast. I'm joined here today with a lovely group of people joining us here. Our good buddy Cider Hype's here with us. How's it going, Cider? Did you still associate yourself with the hype part of the cider, or is it just a cider at this point?
Yeah, I like apple cider. What are you talking about? It's like my favorite drink in the world. It's the whole reason why I have that name.
Oh, okay.
I just go by cider because like
cider.
calling me Cider Hype is like really long, I guess. They just
Especially calling you apple cider hype. That was just
yeah, right. That's just kind of dumb. So I just do cider. That's just kind of my name now.
It's like Band-Aids. It's very brand specific. He's just Band-Aids.
Yeah, right? Q-tips. People say Q-tips, right? That's not the name. That's not what they're called.
Also joining us here, the first time back in a while, the sexiest man of Generation Y, Eddie Brock. How's it going there, Eddie?
Howdy, hi, everybody. Doing well.
Good.
I don't know what to say. I don't have any like cool thing. Good cider.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I mean, you have Eddie Brock though. So I mean, there's that. There's some Spider-Verse stuff, there, right?
We're gonna hype the spider. We're driving towards the city today, and I see a billboard, and it says "Come to Disneyland," and there's a big picture of Spider-Man, and I'm like, I could have swore Walt Disney created Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and then we also have Orange Hat here too. I mean, his goes without saying. I mean, we all know why. He's named Orange Hat. I think that's a pretty straightforward.
Orange hat, red headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I mean,
The
I
other
can tell
one's
you guys.
died, folks.
I can tell you guys why my name is Society Reviews. It was based on a screenplay that I was writing about 10 years ago, and it was so bad I literally stopped writing it. That's how bad it was. I read it halfway through. It was like, I can't release this. It was basically like the Batgirl of like screenplays. It was that bad. It's like, this is going to damage my reputation. If
Was
I
it about
ever
a
release this.
Did it start with a writer waking up in the morning and brushing his teeth and having breakfast and everything?
I literally would have had more dignity if I had wrote like a softcore, like, porn version of Power Rangers that was just like basically a harem. I would have had more respect than whatever the hell I thought was good at the time until I read it myself and realized that no, actually this is awful. Like, this is
Okay.
like hot
A
garbage.
lot of thoughts go through my mind. When you bring up that specific reference. So I just kind of want to roll that back for just a second.
It's mostly Kimberly, right? Yeah, mostly Kimberly thoughts.
There was a long time ago.
It was
okay?
more Aaron Cahill, but yeah, we can.
There was a long time ago
I'm old.
before the Food and Drug Administration got involved with 5-Hour Energy spinoffs. Do you remember Rock On?
Yes.
Yeah. So Rock
Wax
On. No, Rock On was the 5-Hour Energy for your boner. And I'm not kidding.
Better than gas station dick pills.
Better than rhinoceros.
It was so good. It was advertised on G4 before it sucked. Okay,
I remember that.
all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so Rock On. So when you start bringing up like Power Ranger porn, I'm like, were you like snorting Rock On? Is that what you were doing rather than even drinking
Nah.
it? You're just putting that
It was
out in a
just-
straw. And
He was just snorting pixie sticks like normal.
I can say that never in my life have I ever taken a penile enhancement. I have not needed it up to this point, and I like to keep it that way.
yeah.
Rosie
just remember the
O'Donnell moved to
commercials.
Ireland? Holy shit. Sorry.
I just like how
I'm-
Orange is having an entirely unrrated conversation to what's going on right now.
Especially
I'm
after,
just sorry, but
especially
that hit
after,
me like a shock, man.
especially after
She
I just
invaded my home.
I went from
Invaded
Strong
my
Like Bull.
ancestral home.
Yeah, I went
Yeah,
from
right.
Strong Like Bull to Rosie O'Donnell. Thanks a lot.
We were making boner jokes for like the last 2 minutes, and you mentioned the one woman who will make no one's boner ever work again. Thank you very
You
much.
remember?
Captain,
You remember
your
when
contribution.
you remember when Building 7 fell? That was my boner.
Right.
Yeah.
The only one that could do worse is Ellen DeGeneres. That's because Anne Heche got carted off.
Oh,
Shit.
carted off, yeah, in pieces. Yes.
Oh, shit.
The only thing worse than your parents walking in on you while you're masturbating is having Rosie O'Donnell walk in you masturbating. It's even worse.
Especially with that Bill Nye haircut she has going on now.
I don't know. Like nothing will compare to her being Betty in the Flintstones. I was like, why did they do that?
No,
What-
that was actually
why did-
a perfect casting though.
Really? I don't think so. Because like Betty
No.
doesn't look like a refrigerator,
No.
Eddie. Betty doesn't look like a refrigerator.
Was
She's
she
dainty
fat
like
then?
Wilma.
Or,
She's
like-
slightly
Yeah.
plump, yes.
She's always been fat. That's the joke.
Right.
Yeah,
but
she's-
that's,
I'm
but
trying to
she's
think when's
not
the last
Rosie
time she,
O'Donnell fat.
I'm trying to think, was that like right before or like right around A League of Their Own, like the original one, not that stupid one they did. on,
94.
Yeah.
they're always
it was-
90.
it has been somewhere around that same time period, right?
Yeah, I
The
think
Flintstones
so.
was late 90s. Yeah. John Goodman was still fat.
You know who produced the Flintstones? Kathleen Kennedy.
No.
Yeah.
So that's why she was in it. Ugh.
Leslie Tarkin is judging us very hard right now because this whole first 10 minutes
I'm
has
sorry.
gone completely off the rail.
You like my
If you
pink?
thought it was bad, if you thought it was bad, you should have saw the first like 5 minutes before we actually went live. Like that was even worse. than what we're talking about.
Honestly,
I
we
was
all
just
we all
slowly
ought to pivot
dying
to that
inside.
content.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm never gonna look at teddy bears the same way again. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, you're gonna be squeezing them. That's what you're gonna be. You're squeezing them.
I'm gonna have
Well,
to
but
switch my. I'm gonna switch my vest now. Holy crap! I'll be right back.
I'm
I have
checking for
never heard
wires
so
now
many
before.
farts. I have never heard so many farts than I did behind the scenes tonight.
It was like explosive diarrhea or something like that.
Fart demon.
I swear to
Fart
God,
demon.
Cider needs to check his pants. Let's just say that.
I'm the only guy on this panel right now that does not need to do that. I promise you, I am the only person on this panel that is not implicated in that guess who. Okay? When the police lineup comes up, I'm the guy that goes, "Hey, I'm unarmed here."
Cider has the perfect alibi.
Your Honor, I stand by. I stand by. Do not decry or deny it.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, we're here on Rumble and on YouTube and on X. I don't know if the thing got
set
up.
I said, so dirty. We're on Rumble and on X.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not like being on YouTube benefits you anything anymore, right?
All right.
Unless...
Might fucking hang this shit up soon.
I mean, look, the only way we're ever going to make money on YouTube if we start becoming like gay makeup channels like that. That's really the only way that you can make money on this platform anymore. It's just be like James Charles before everyone figured out he was a pedophile.
I'm too good looking to wear makeup now.
Yeah.
Guess we're never going there.
But Sakura Mita's joining us here saying, I might have a question when we get to Powerpuff Girls. I think we're all going to have questions when we get to Powerpuff Girls. That'll be a very, very interesting topic here on the show. Leslie is here, and it says that we're ready to bring on the heat and the fire here tonight. Our buddy Neozoic is here with us as well. Orange still trying to recover emotionally for what he witnessed in the first 10 minutes before we started the show. That was good there.
Can I high five Leslie on that Power Station reference? Good job. Some like it hot and some sweat when the heat is on.
I was literally listening to the B-52's Pandora station, and I felt like I was physically in 1983.
To answer Leslie, do you see Rick here?
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe they finally got him. Maybe somebody reported him and then took the snitch money. I mean, maybe somebody did that. I don't know who would ever do something like that, but I mean, you know, it could happen. I shouldn't be subjecting us to any photos of Zielger. No, we'll get to her later on here. She's
wait
gotta
for
be
that
one of
one.
the dumbest people on earth.
Hi,
Keith
Kirk.
joining us there on the Rumbles of the side of things. I know he goes by Kirk username. His real name's Keith. I just call him Keith, so you know, it's just easier that
Doxed.
way. Doxed. It said, hello everyone. Who else we got here? Cider.
Is that what he's saying in the song? I've been wondering that for months. Is he saying "got your dog"? Bye, hi Cindy. Is that what he's saying? Because I have no clue. It sounds like "I got your dog." Bye, hi Cindy.
If you don't know what he's talking about the theme song to The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which is a fine Nickelodeon show. So one of the best shows they've ever produced. I'll go as far as to say that.
Well, they certainly are looking happily deranged. So
Leslie definitely enjoys the beautiful hair of Eddie making a return here to the show. Who else have we got going on here tonight? Vanya is here.
Hair that makes wigs for Kamala Harris.
I'm serious. I've had at least 4 women so far since the beginning of the year touch my hair like a horse and just brush it along with their hands. Oh my God, can I have your hair? Ugh.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's like
4 women. You need to start charging for that shit.
They're all grandmothers. They all want to hook me up with their granddaughters. I'm like,
Can I just ask, like, real quick? Do people just do that? Because I hear like black people complain all the time that white people and Asian people just walk up and start petting them.
No, it's black. It's black grandmothers who walk up to me and just start patting my head.
Oh, so it goes all the way around. See, up here in Maine, we just don't do that
absolutely.
shit. There's just no time.
It's either that or.
Oh my God.
Or if like when you go to a dive bar and like all the drunk girls just want to touch like the boobs is like the biggest one like in the room. It's just like, oh my God, are they real? Can I feel them? It's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. It's like it happens all the time.
Every time I feel like
do these women feel up your boobs, Jacob? Is that where you?
I cannot confirm nor deny this has ever happened in my life.
Everyone, don't touch my boobs. Whatever you do, don't touch my boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a T-shirt. That's a
I
T-shirt.
will report you. No. Here's a T-shirt. I will report you to Title IX. That's a T-shirt.
Yeah, you get shot up here in Maine, but it'll be like rubber rainbow bullets, so it won't really hurt. It just kind of sting your pride.
Halle Berry and Flintstones was the only thing that made it watchable.
They're giving the bullets HRT up there.
Literally, the only other person from Maine outside of Cider that I've ever known is a lady who, quite literally, in the last year, moved to St. Louis, changed her name, and got married. So I guess it's a happy ever after story. There's something going on there about Maine. It's just a weird place. That's all I'm saying there. Who else?
Well,
here?
yeah,
Zay
fucking
here.
Stephen King lives there. So
Isn't Rosie O'Donnell? What
Lesbian.
gave it away? What gave
what
it
is
away
a
that Rosie-
lesbian? What is a lesbian?
Well, no.
What's that?
For what it is, she lied for at least 10, 15 years on national television about being a lesbian
Yeah.
because she used to want to rub herself over every single hunk that came by, every himbo that was on her show. She would, oh my God, because old Midwestern white women aren't going to watch her show unless she does that.
You know
I
why
guess-
Jacob Lloyd
wait.
was so fucking traumatized? It's because she actually hit on him during her own Rosie O'Donnell show.
Mm-hmm.
But wait, what if she was straight and found out she's just too uggo? So then she was like, well, I guess it's muff diving.
Remember when
Man,
Rosie
nobody even
O'Donnell
liked her
and
then either.
Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres tried to convince you in the 90s that they were straight, and then we just gave them this look.
Uh-huh. What'd you say?
You ain't fooling anybody. Why do you
It's
think
like
the
when-
chemistry
it's like-
between her and Madonna was
Say
so
that
good?
again. Say that
It's
again,
like-
Pinky.
It's like when Clay Aiken came out as gay. It was like, yeah, we know. Like, did you think that was a
Yeah,
secret?
you're singing for Queen. Yeah, we know, bro.
It's like, did you think we
That's
just
like
now
a
found out?
prerequisite. That's like a prerequisite to sing with Queen. The only non-gay person to sing for. Wait, is he gay? I don't know. Foo Fighters lead singer, is he gay?
No, look, if you're going to sing for Queen, you have to be gay and die of AIDS before 50. That's just the rules. So,
Pretty much.
Oh, boy.
And then you still won't measure up to Freddie. Freddie is the
Yeah.
only good
Freddie
gay
was beautiful.
singer out there. I'm sorry, man.
Eddie's going to start an OnlyFans, just be hair videos.
Absolutely. Talk about muff diving.
Harry Brock on
Oh.
OnlyFans.
Okay, that was a great start to this show. We're doing great.
What are we talking about now?
Yeah, we'll steer this one back to reality here. We're gonna start off hot. We're gonna start off really hot. We're gonna start off with the Powerpuff Girls because this may be the worst
shit.
thing since 9/11. Did you guys see the trailer?
No wonder
with
I got
the CW pop
Fuck.
with Powerpuff Girls. If you have not seen it yet, we will play it for you. This is a real thing. I need to stretch this out just real quick, right? This is not a Saturday Night Live skit. This is not a Mad TV skit. This is not a Funny or Die video. This is nothing along those lines. This was a real show with real actors that they were actually going to do on the CW for serious stuff. This is all real. So what you're about to see now was a serious attempt at entertainment by Hollywood on the brand scene. Let me ask you this real quick before we even get into the video. When's the last? Let me rephrase this question. Has the CW ever been good? I think we've reached that point where you have to question whether there was anything ever good in the CW.
It's like the first two seasons of Arrow were pretty memorable,
First
and
two
then
seasons,
Smallville
first
as a
three
whole.
seasons of Flash. Smallville as a whole was great. First two seasons of Arrow, or first 4 seasons of Arrow, first 3 seasons of Flash, and nothing else was good. That's it.
Yeah. The last time I go ahead.
I haven't watched anything from the CW since it was the UPN, and like even UPN was awesome. UPN was fantastic.
No, remember it was
CW.
UPN and WB merged and became CW. That's how it all started.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, now, so he was watching the other side of it. Okay.
Yeah, because I live in a predominantly African American population city, so
UPN.
I get UPN. I get UPN.
What
I don't
is
get
the
WB.
Ugandan Patrol Network? I don't know what the fuck.
It's urban. Actually, it was Urban Programming Network because it was literally a subsidiary of BET. It was like CBS gave them a bunch of money. Sorry.
That's weird because the main version just played a bunch of like Rescue 911 and a bunch of Mega Man and a bunch of white people content. Like had absolutely nothing to do. I don't remember anything
Yeah, and in the black community, UPN was always referred to as underpaid niggas. That was the
yeah. Yep, that's where Living Single was.
Yep, Moesha.
Moesha
was the Hughley show that was on there for a while too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Cat Williams based his entire '90s career on the UPN network.
Yeah.
Did you know that a Smallville cast member actually has an OnlyFans, and it's not who you think?
Oh, I think
it's Sam Jones the third. It's it's Pete Ross from Smallville. He actually has a fucking OnlyFans.
No, I don't need that in my life.
Wow.
So here is this is the recently released trailer to the canceled Powerpuff Girls live action television show that was supposed to come out on the CW, and it's literally as bad as you can possibly think. No, actually, if you haven't seen this yet and you think that this is bad, this is going to somehow surpass your expectations on how shit this really is. So I'm going to play it for you guys.
Take some Pepto before you watch this, folks.
Keep in mind, this is real. This is not
I've been away from the internet I've been away from the internet for a month, so this ought to be good.
Oh boy.
Blossom was constantly stressed.
Wait, is it daylight savings?
Buttercup was constantly rebellious.
I'm not wearing that dress anymore. It's gender normative and ass ugly.
And Bubbles was constantly drinking.
Loving the drugs.
Go get him! And on one fateful day, the girls made a fatal error, costing Mojo his life. In the wake of disaster, Blossom ran away. Buttercup became a real hero. And Bubbles, well, she made it all the way to Hollywood Boulevard.
Hi, I'm Bubbles. Everybody wants to talk to Fake Jesus. Hi.
Well, oops, baby.
The Powerpuff Girls are coming to town tomorrow.
All three?
Are the Powerpuff Girls reteaming?
Hell no, I am never capable.
Again, I'm going to reiterate to you, this is not a parody. This is not a Saturday Night Live sketch, nor is it a Mad TV sketch. This is real. Somebody showed this video to a group of executives, and even the CW said, "Oh no." So that's how we got here.
Why did they pick
All right, well, go ahead.
Why did they pick Angel Reese to be Buttercup?
It's a tax write-off. I mean, at this point, what could you have done to make this worse? I mean, you couldn't have made it much worse.
Oof.
Here we go.
Well, again.
The 3B's back in Townsville. I didn't want to bring this up yet, but I have reason to believe the darkness may be returning.
Like monsters?
I'm just muted just for the sake of stuff.
I loved again in Townsville.
You're my daughter's first, and your happiness is all that matters.
I'm really sorry for accusing your dad of mass terrorism.
Yeah. Is she flirting?
I guess we're even. I mean, we are not even. I mean, just like.
Breaking news, it is not coming soon. It is not coming at all. That is the canceled.
No coming for you.
The trailer for the canceled CW series. We've heard about this for a while. I think there was some screen shots and some pictures of them on set that made people think, oh, this is going to be really bad. And then CW said, hey, look, we're never showing this, so we might as well just give it. This is what we were going to do a show about. And it's worse than anything that you can possibly imagine. Someone put money, time, and effort into this. If you guys don't know some of the actresses here, this is the girl from that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. I don't remember what character she played. This is, I don't even know who that is. And then there's Bubbles, who's the blonde one, who I believe is Dove Cameron, is that her name? I've seen her in a couple of things. She's not that impressive, but they were going for a nihilistic millennial girl representation of the Powerpuff Girls. And it's just like, well, what if me and my drunk friends, did our day-to-day life routines and we were in the Powerpuff Girls universe? I was like, let's make a show out of that. And then an executive had to have seen this and be like, we're ruined. Like this is gonna ruin our. It's not even a good reputation, but it's gonna ruin it regardless. And this is how we got this. So, Cider, I'll start with you. What is your reaction to the failed this?
Well, I got into it with Lisa Green over this, but just to put it plainly, Powerpuff Girls is not edited, scripted, or paced for girls. The show, the cartoon from the 90s into the 2000s is paced for boys. It's written for boys. Even in the opening, there's exposed brain matter, there's fighting, there's broken teeth and bones and quivering in agony. These are all things that the girls at the time were testing in negatives for. They had no interest in such things. There was a study done by Sony about females interacting with violent video games, and they like uniformly disapprove of it. And so, at the time of the Powerpuff Girls television show, while the programming was made for boys, the toys were not. And I think the problem is that when girls watched the show, they didn't get much out of it. They played with the toys, who were cute, and they had the little hair functions, and they were plushies. Later on, when the show relaunched, it got a bunch of different toys. But in the beginning, it was just accessory toys and Brush Blossom's hair, that kind of stuff. It wasn't anything in depth. Because again, it was they didn't know what they were doing with that show. Gendy had come off of Dexter's Laboratory and came up with this mad idea of an action show for girls. And this missed that completely. This decided, okay, so there's 3 girls and they grow up, and that's all they took out of the Powerpuff Girls. They did not retain anything about what the mythos of the show even is. You don't even have like Mojo Jojo there. You just have some angry guy that has a beard. So obviously you weren't going to have a screaming monkey in the show. You're just going to have some Arabic looking man called Mojo Jojo. So, and that was that. They couldn't commit. They couldn't take it seriously. That's the biggest problem here.
And then they got the black guy from Can't Hardly Wait to be the professor, and that didn't go very well.
Because we need more black representation in fictional STEM.
Okay,
I guess.
I guess. All right. That's literally everything answer to this meeting.
When I think of white privilege, I think of your Professor Utonium, the guy who doesn't have superpowers and has to watch his underage daughters go out and fight horrible monsters and hope they don't get killed doing so. Yeah.
This is rotten. It is just rotten to the core. Orange, what's your take on the Powerpuff Girls and the CW as a network and Diablo Cody, who's apparently responsible for this?
Well, first off, this the cancellation of this proves there is a God, folks. I mean, seriously, go to church. As for this show, this stream might get taken down because I heard that they are going hard after anybody who airs this shit. By the way,
yeah, they're trying to scrub it from the internet, but we're gonna play it anyway.
I didn't know you were gonna play that. Otherwise, I would have warned you.
No, I knew beforehand. Like I didn't care.
Okay, good. But yeah, this show is so fucking. I used to watch the Powerpuff Girls. I'm not afraid to admit that. I used to watch it every now and then. This show is absolutely nothing like the Powerpuff Girls. It was complete woke bullshit, is what this is. And it's like, seriously, folks. Woke era went to the Powerpuff Girls and shoved a fucking woke rod up its ass and then turned it on with battery power. That's all they fucking did. And Chloe Bennett, I believe she actually said, yeah, this is shit. That's why they canceled it. I believe she was the only one to actually admit that. The other two were like, they only got rid of it because of racism. It's like, no, they got rid of it because it was fucking garbage. Look, as Jake said, does this fucking look serious to you? I mean, seriously. As for the CW, they had a good thing going in the early or late 2000s and early 2010s. Unfortunately, they didn't know how to keep going with that, and they had to say, oh, we need to rebel, because I guarantee you folks, the whole rise of wokeness was in rebellion against the people, and I'm going to die on this hill. It was a direct response of the 2016 election and the 2014 report that Donald Trump was running for president. That was their whole freaking reaction, and they couldn't handle it that the people voted against Hollywood's interest. So they decided to punish, and they decided to push all of this shit. And look where it fucking got them. You get this literally bag of dicks from retards around the world, and this is what you get. I mean, sure, she's the hottest one out of the whole fucking crew. The other two, I wouldn't even.
Yeah, it's not even a high
I'd
bar.
walk right by them and not even know who the hell they are. That's my
they
whole thoughts
they all look like 30-year-old wine moms at this point. I mean, that's really just where we're at. And actually, the story behind this particular series is even far worse than what you just explained, Orange. I'll talk about it here in a second. Eddie, welcome back to the internet. What do you think about this show?
This is terrible. I never thought I wanted to have my nostalgia be ruined as badly as this. No, I love the Powerpuff Girls. What a terrible travesty this was. I remember reading about this a long time ago, and I'm glad that somebody decided to bring out the trailer, and we got to see the monstrosity that this is, because this is it's not, I don't know if it's really wokeness, but this is corporate meddling, as just completely controlling an entire television show, an entire franchise that people love, and just, corporatizing it to the point of ick, and it's not that Powerpuff Girls weren't corporatized to begin with. They did that with the last one, with the last reboot, because this thing has been rebooted 4 or 5 times, and that's beside the anime. So, I'm so sad. I'm so sad that it happened to the Powerpuff Girls, but happy it didn't happen to Dexter's Lab. So Dexter's Lab is still pure, thank God. It's still Kino, so that's all right with me.
Yeah, I mean, so the story about this whole show was that they announced it in 2020. So this was like in the middle of the pandemic / Summer of Love. They thought they were going to grace us with a live action Powerpuff Girls series. And when they pitched it as, oh, it's going to be the Powerpuff Girls, but they're disillusioned 20-somethings. So clearly this has been in development for a while. I don't think that any of those actresses are in their 20s anymore. I'm just going to be very, very blunt about that. And being resentful about losing their childhoods to fight crime and facing the choice of reuniting when the world needs them more than ever. So this was supposed to be a perversion from the very, very jump. The show was written by Heather Regner, who don't even know who that is, and Diablo Cody, who at this point I'm trying to think of, has there anything that she's done that's actually been good, like ever? If you guys recall, we reviewed a movie that she did last year called Lisa Frankenstein, and I think it made all of our top 10 worst list of the worst movies that we had seen that year. It was actually really, really bad, and she wrote and directed that film. So she's been doing crap for quite some time. I think a lot of people thought she was good because of Juno, but I feel like if you go back and you watch that film in 2025, that movie doesn't hold up as well as a lot of people think that it does. It's been a while. So that was where they were moving forward with that film. And then they ordered the pilot a year later in 2021, and that's when they hired all the girls to be in the film. They changed the name to Powerpuff. They added a few more people, and then the production began a few months later. They said they got Tom Kenny back to be the original narrator from the show, and I feel like Tom Kenny's legacy probably didn't need that hit. But they announced that the pilot would have to be reworked because it didn't go over very well. The script leaked to overwhelming negative reviews on social media. It was not, and I wonder who leaked it, honestly. Like, it must have been someone so bad, it's like they need to see how terrible this whole thing is. Then the head of the CW said that, hey, guess what, guys? We're going to rewrite the entire thing. And then a couple months later, Bennett dropped out of the project altogether due to scheduling conflicts because, she's such a busy actress that, she had other things to do rather than, CW television shows. And then, of course, they announced 2 years later, after all that happened, they announced 2 years later that, we're just going to cancel the whole thing. The new owners of the CW looked at that and they were like, we're not releasing this shit. And somehow the trailer leaked last week, and now we're here. This is how we got here. So basically the new owners came in and it was like, oh God. And then they were like, no,
brother, you. What is this, brother?
Can we applaud the hero that the whoever leaked this and the script?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for what it is, everybody forget WikiLeaks and forget all that political garbage.
Forget the Podesta emails. Like, this is what we need.
Forget all that. You need to start leaking this type of stuff all over the place. Go into the vaults where nobody's looking. The Ark of the Covenant's still there from the Indiana Jones movies. Just fucking move it to the corner and pick up all that leftover stuff that you would never think anybody wants to see. Leak all of that stuff. That's what I want to see. I want to see all the garbage that we never actually got to see. The hundreds of failed pilots every year and everything. Oh,
someone asked about the Powerpuff Girls 2016 reboot. I never saw that, so I have no gauge on how bad that was. I can only assume it was terrible.
It wasn't bad. It was like it's a 3 out of 5, but it's. I mean, if you want to consider it an origin story and just disregard the series, yeah, go ahead. But
yeah. Like I say, you're talking to someone who I don't think I've watched the Powerpuff Girls since 1998. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably out of the loop as far as the fandom goes. Props to the CW for starting the show. At least some of the newer high ups, the ones who bought the company, the people who bought this company. It's like, you ever watching those HGTV shows where like they buy a house sight unseen and they go in and see just how terrible shape the house is beforehand. It's like it needs new like HV and it needs new wiring and foundation. It's like, oh god, this is way worse.
It's haunted.
Than I thought that it was. It's haunted. So someone died there. Yeah, it was one of those. June.
What's a meth lab doing in the basement?
This show was a self-insert for the miserable cows who wrote it. Absolutely, and no one wants to watch a show like that. A movie wore off pretty quickly. Not great. Says never watched a single second of Powerpuff Girls. Thought eating toys and advertising looked like trash. I mean, like I said, I know it was popular for its time. That was when Cartoon Network was trying to, separate itself from the Nickelodeons and the Disney Channel. So.
What's weird is that this one, I guess, was trying to say that the cartoon was its own entity. Like the Powerpuff Girls in our reality actually exist, right? In our real life reality. And the cartoon itself is separate. It's like media in the thing. So it was like, I don't know what they were trying to do. It was really crazy, really stupid.
Yeah. It wasn't great.
Please don't go after Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Please don't sell that out, Craig.
I mean, for me, they already ruined Rocco's Modern Life. I think Doug is. I mean, if you don't count Disney's, Doug has relatively unscathed. So I don't know. Hopefully, they just stop trying to remake stuff that I like. So
Hey Arnold's the only one that got out good. The Jungle movie kicks ass.
And if anyone tries to do a Hey Arnold reboot, we will physically attack you. That's our promise there. So we will find you, just like Nemesis said.
I don't think they know how to do those ones. That's why they haven't touched Dexter's Laboratory. They don't know how to tackle that. Powerpuff Girls was something.
The voice actor died too, didn't he?
Well, they don't need a voice actor. They can do this. They can do some live action bullshit thing. It's not hard. Just CGI the background like they did with Mandalorian. They don't even need to build a set. But the problem is that they don't know how to tell that story through the lens that they currently operate under. Even with BlackRock disconnecting themselves rather from DEI, the wording anyway. Disney vowing to get rid of it as well. They still don't know how to tell these stories. Like Foster's Home for Imaginary Kids is about a gentle young man. At the core of it, Blue is the main character, but it really tells the story of Max, right? Max is the main character. So it really tells the story of Mac being a very gentle, kind soul and sacrificing his free time to help these very special imaginary friends. Okay. And so they can't warp that. They look what they did with Death Note and making L black and how well that went over with everybody. And I think they learned their lesson there. That's why they leaned into One Piece so hard with that representation. They've been so careful with changing different characters out, and it's really a different world now. And that's why I don't think they'll go after these. I think they're done with them. Because these shows that have the heroic element of heteronormativity, they can't touch. Like Doug, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, they can't touch them. You know, they can run headlong into these stories that came out after that. Like Steven Universe is going to get a live action multiverse. You wait, you know.
Yeah,
Fairly
That's
Odd Parents
probably already in the works.
Fairly Odd Parents has 2 live actions.
Yep, and they all suck. Because again, like that's another one that they thought they had by the ass. Because like Timmy's not out and out a straight kid. He never out and out marries 2D. It's only implied in a few episodes that he does that. So they can play around with that one. But and of course, fairies. You know, they got to take that word back. So
yeah. That, and they found out that the voice actress is, you know, like cougar with giant boobs too. So that's another thing that hurt.
yeah,
the
Tara
lore of the
Strong
show.
got into trouble for being a
Jewish.
Yamaha enthusiast.
Yeah.
Basically being Jewish. Yep.
Yeah.
But no, this is where it is. So yeah, I'm glad the CW cancel that. It shows that there's still some sense in Hollywood. It's not a lot, but you know, there's peaks and valleys of it. Hey Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm still here.
Rick, are you a Powerpuff Girls fan?
No.
Good. Okay, now I'll have to
Though
any further.
I have just real quick. I have memories. This brings back memories of when they did that Bewitched movie. They tried to be too clever with the material. You know, they're gonna try to, hey, look, there's a TV show, and we're like making fun of the TV show by pretending that there was a TV show. It was very convoluted. So I'm getting the same sense out of this Powerpuff thingamabob, but I think it's nice that they actually decided not to go ahead with it, because maybe they realize, hey, no one's going to care.
Oh,
that's pretty much it.
Any final thoughts on this one before we jump over?
Release more things. We need a new WikiLeaks for Hollywood.
Yeah, please, if we could get some spies out there in Hollywood to just sabotage these terrible projects before they see the light of day, that would be a great service to us all.
Just like they did release, or somebody leaked out that Wonder Woman pilot show that they tried to do, and that did not go over very well. I managed to see it, and it was really bad. So I'm getting the same sense with the Powerpuff thing here.
All right, well, let's jump over to this story here, because this is something that has been a very, very interesting one that's unfolded here over the course of the last several days, and there's still elements to this kind of breaking apart, but let's kind of peel it back and kind of focus on how he got here. LeBron James ruined the NBA, and he's now in a position where he doesn't want to deal with the fact that he killed basketball for so many people, and the NBA is in a position right now that they had to rig a trade to the Los Angeles Lakers so that people can watch the Lakers and the Celtics again and pretend like it's 1988 when it's not. And what the problem here is that LeBron doesn't want to take any accountability for the way that he's ruined the league over the last 15 years. So now he has passed the buck on the media. He's blaming the media for the fact that no one likes the NBA for 2 reasons. One is that he's blaming guys like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and the inside the NBA crew, because, you know, they're old school guys who played basketball in the 90s and the 2000s, and they don't think that this style of play and these players today are very good. They're doing more of a disservice to the game, and they call him out on it. So what LeBron and his friends and allies in the media have done is that they've essentially passed the buck to Charles Barkley, saying that he's the reason why people aren't watching anymore, because he's telling everyone that the game is bad, and if guys like that weren't around, then maybe people would actually watch the NBA. That's not why people are not watching your show, but LeBron lives in the delusional fantasy land. And then you had an incident over last couple of days where LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, and he confronted him allegedly because LeBron James did not like what Stephen A. Smith had to say about LeBron James's son. Now, if you guys recall, LeBron James's son was drafted by the Lakers last summer, and his son is trash. He is the worst player in the NBA by far. He doesn't even play most of the games with the Lakers. He's in the G League, where I guess he's doing okay in the G League, but I mean, for someone to say you're doing okay in the G League means that you shouldn't be in the NBA. That's really what it comes down to. And his son is so trash. His son is so trash is that even Stephen A. Smith couldn't run defense for him anymore, and he criticized him. LeBron James, in the middle of the game, this was like the third quarter of the game, turned around to Stephen A. Smith and basically confronted him and threatened him at the middle of this game. So this made big national headlines here over the last couple of days. To show you a video here. So he basically told Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith has talked about this here too. He says that, don't go after my son, or don't go after my effing son, or something like that. It's like, bro, your son plays in the NBA now. Your son plays in big league basketball. He's not like a 16-year-old in the rec league and people are just being mean to him. Like, your son is a professional basketball player, probably solely because of you. So you don't get to go around threatening members of the media for criticizing him for being trash when it's quite literally your fault he's out here to begin with. Now, Stephen A. Smith had to come out and defend himself from this and basically said that LeBron James's ego is so massive that even he's going after guys who have literally made their entire careers defending him, right? So this was him about 2 days ago, and he's made some other comments since, but this is what he said about the whole LeBron James situation, basically pointing out how LeBron's ego is so massive. If you say one thing that's critical about him, despite everything else you've said to praise him, he'll still go after you because his ego can't allow it.
I was on First Take, my day job on ESPN earlier this morning, and I spoke about this, and I felt the need to elaborate even further because a couple of people text me and pissed me off, and they know who they are. People close to LeBron James talking to me about questioning him as a father. Come on, y'all. I mean, it's gotten to a point where this LeBron sensitivity is just beyond the pale. You call him the second best player in the history of the game, you're insulting him because you said he's not the GOAT.
Because he's not.
Saying that at age 40, we've never seen anybody do what he does, but pointing out at times how he may not have hustled back on defense in a key pivotal moment, and that's a problem. You give him all the praise in the world when he drops 40, but he has a bad night, and you say he had a bad night, and you're hating. It's ridiculous. But never before has it been more ridiculous than it is right now, because the reality is that we got to be real about what we're seeing when we talk about Bronny James. I am not a person that had a problem with Bronny James.
So I just want to read you the stat line just in case you guys can't see it. He played Tuesday against the 76ers, played for 15 minutes, scored 0 points. He was 0 for 5 in shooting on the floor, 0 for 3 from 3-point range. He had 3 rebounds and an assist, and he turned the ball over 3 times. And this is the most minutes that he has played in any NBA game this season, 15 minutes. It's as clear as day to everyone that this kid is not NBA ready. He should not be in the NBA. And the only reason he was drafted by the Lakers is because his dad made them draft him. And anyone who tries to deny that is a fool.
Being on the court for the season opener with LeBron James. That was a phenomenal moment. To see a father on the court with his son who has NBA aspirations playing together for the first time in NBA history. The Griffeys in baseball, Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. were in attendance for it. It was a special moment. My position has always been that should have been the only moment we saw Bronny James in a Lakers uniform this season, because he's not ready. I'm not here to tell you that he won't be ready. I'm not here to tell you that he won't be an NBA player. I'm not here to tell you that he should give up his dreams and his aspirations. I think the kid's got potential. I think the kid will be in the NBA one day. I watched him in the G League doing his thing. I think he's going to be fine eventually. But that's not the case yet.
So this is obviously what got LeBron James all upset. Now, while all this is going on, keep in mind there's a theme here that LeBron is now going after members of the media for calling out basically him, the Lakers, stuff like that. So Charles Barkley, who's the other guy in this scenario, who's now being blamed for the downfall of the NBA because he's critical of LeBron James and the people around him, he basically had enough. And a couple of days before LeBron confronted Stephen A. Smith, he basically came out and said, you know what, all you idiots on ESPN are exactly the reason why we're in this situation to begin with. Here's what Barkley had to say about the whole situation.
All fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers saved the NBA.
Save the NBA?
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq? Which one you talking about?
Kendrick Perkins.
Oh,
He said the Lakers. First of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're gonna be working for next year. That's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I
Tell me
don't
something.
whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that
Hey,
one.
man.
I'm stealing that one.
The Lakers are doing great. Got a long way to go. But the reason the season's been going great for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all just want to talk about the Warriors and the Lakers. They're both doing great. Don't get me wrong. If I turn out to be wrong, I got no problem with that. But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Y'all don't. The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 12 straight games. The Oklahoma City got the MVP.
14 straight since this video has been aired, but keep going.
And they are on fire. Y'all are talking about who's in second place. That's the reason I get pissed. Hey, the Lakers are doing great. I don't mind being wrong. The Warriors are doing great. But that's because you fools on other networks, which we're going to become fools next year. We'll be working on that network. But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months. Y'all talking about teams that had two great weeks.
My first one, my best one.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that here in a second. So basically, Charles Barkley, who completely understands that next year they'll be working for ESPN by proxy because that's where their show is going to be headed there. Saying that, look, it's you idiots in the media that has got us to the point where we are right now, where nobody wants to watch the NBA because every time you try to watch any kind of sports coverage of the NBA, you're going to be treated to an hour-long debate about how great LeBron James is, and nobody wants to sit there and watch that 5 days a week. And then as a course of that, no one wants to sit there and watch LeBron James and the Lakers when they come on television. So, like I said, we talked about last week how it was this whole trade with Luka Doncic rigged to make LA a title contender so they can try to shoehorn another Lakers-Celtics series for ratings. Apparently, the game that happened last Saturday between the Lakers and the Celtics did about 4 million people. So it's like, it goes to show you if that was the plan is working from that front. But people are just completely tuned out of this at this point because they're done with what basketball has become. And I know some of you guys may not be basketball fans. Maybe if you were at one point, you probably haven't kept up with what's going on here, but it's an interesting debate because this all comes back to one way or another the massive ego of LeBron James. So I guess Rick, we'll start here with you because you're the one with the Luka jersey, so you know about the situation probably better than a lot of people. What's kind of your take on LeBron James as a player and then just his massive ego just seemingly driving everyone away from the sport at this point?
Well, I think he probably loves his child and wants to promote him, but there's no reason. I like to think of this is a similar situation with Will Smith and his 2 kids. What was it? Willow and Jaden. They're trying to promote them as big stars when they don't have the skills or apparently the interest. And we're getting the same situation here with Brony. If he's not, he shouldn't have been pushed in, and he was pushed in probably because his father's the big name. It's a shame because now he's putting his son. I mean, as much as he might love his son, I think he is embarrassing him by forcing him. I don't want to say forcing, but trying to promote him as the next big star when he could have risen on his own if he had the time and the skills. As for LeBron James, I mean, yes, I think he is going to. He has a big name and he has a big ego, and too often people have wanted to make him the face of the NBA, but not a lot of people really care. So I don't have much of a dog in this fight, but I would just recommend that Brony quietly leave and work somewhere else, or maybe if he wants to work his way back up, that's fine. There's no issue with that, but why prolong the agony and continue to make both father and son spectacles in this very sordid sideshow?
I just wanted to point out Eddie was having an audio issue. He was going to cycle back. I don't know what happened to Orange. He just kind of dipped out here. So I guess we're going back here to the Cider. And Cider just so happens to have a video ready for us right here.
Not a video.
Yeah. Oh, picture. Yeah, so this was, I'm just going to prove it quick. This is LeBron James' son when he played for USC last year. I want to point this out to you. Even at USC, he wasn't good. Like, I think he averaged like 4.5 points a game at USC. And I wonder how he just so happened to make the Lakers team, averaging 4.5 points a game in college.
Well, is he adopted? Because that's not, these are not, these two men are not in the same gene pool, sir.
He could look like his mother.
Yeah, I mean, he does kind of look a little bit like LeBron. Like, I don't think LeBron looks as much like he does back then. I mean, then again, it's Hollywood. Who knows?
Well, no, this is young LeBron. This is what I went and looked for. I went and looked for 20-year-old LeBron James. This is from an interview when he was 20 years old, 21, 22, somewhere around there, college age. And this is his son, same age. And I'm thinking, these guys don't look anything alike, like at all. I'm not doing that whole black guys look the same, because quite obviously these two do not look the same. I don't like, if that guy showed up with this kid in his arms, like, somebody ought to be like, hey man, I need to make sure, like, you, LeBron, where'd you find that one? Somebody just hand that to you, you keep walking? What happened?
Like I said, he could bear a resemblance to his mother than to his father.
That is very true.
Yes, but I've never met a guy or a gal that just is like a 1-to-1 pull from mom. Like, even Brock Lesnar's daughter with her tree trunk neck and man jaw, it looks like her mom. I don't see any LeBron in Bronny. I don't.
Well, let's say this now. Somebody has a question here. First question, Neo Zoic has here: who's worse in times of massive ego, LeBron James or CM Punk? They're both bad in their own ways. I think LeBron James is far worse in this aspect. It's like, he legitimately, I heard this from his son like a year or two ago, and it just made me go, oh my God, this guy is the most delusional man on earth. No, now that he's on the same team, he told his son that, hey, don't call me dad anymore. Either call me Braun or call me GOAT. So he wants his son to refer to him as GOAT, because in LeBron's mind, he is the greatest basketball player who's ever lived. And that's unironic. That's not even like a bit. Like, that's legitimately how LeBron James feels himself. He thinks that in his own mind, he is the greatest basketball player of all time, which is why he has hired several of his buddies in the media all through Clutch Sports. So that's why if you watch, shows like First Take, or you're watching, Nick Wright's show, and you're watching the other guys in the media who are super LeBron fan, all they talk about is like, oh my God, LeBron's so great. He's 40. Can you imagine how great he is at 40? All they're doing every single day is just talking about how great LeBron James is. And they're all friends with LeBron James, or working from a studio that is directly responsible for LeBron James. So LeBron has basically very, very quietly created his own propaganda machine where all these shows do nothing but talk about how great LeBron James is. And this is how bad, like, CM Punk's delusional. I don't think he has the ability to become as delusional as LeBron James. And here's a little video from Saturday's game against the Celtics, where this is one of the worst flops in NBA history, and people wonder why no one really want to watch the NBA at this moment. But here you go.
That was an input command error.
Didn't even touch him. I like how the announcer was like, ooh, did he get him? Because he didn't want to just come right out and say, oh, that was a flop. That was an obvious flop.
Ah, my tibula.
Ah.
And then he goes into the stance. Oh man, I'm out.
The superhero landing.
Oh,
elbow
goodness.
Missed him by a good 2 inches, and this is how he reacted.
And they want to call pro wrestling fake.
Yeah, Seth Rollins can sell better punches than whatever the hell this was.
That wasn't a punch. That was a get off me, bitch. And then for some reason he fell to the ground like one.
It's like somebody hit him with a fucking stun gun.
This is what happens in Skyrim when you pick up that extra item and you can't fast travel anymore.
Yeah, right.
My thoughts on this whole thing, if I may.
But
LeBron, first off, I'm not a big sports watcher, folks. You know that if you've paid attention to me on here. If I recall, I think it was Michael Jordan. Somebody asked him, "How would you guys do against LeBron and the Lakers if the dream team from the '90s versus LeBron?" I think it'd be like a 3-point difference. Really, they're that good? Well, we're not as young as we used to be. I mean, if we played in our prime, we'd fucking slaughter them. But I mean, Michael Jordan basically roasted the fuck out of LeBron with that one. But this whole thing with the Nepo kid or his Nepo baby being in the fucking NBA, it's like the nepotism basketball. I guess now, yeah, that thing. It's like, dude, your fucking kid sucks. Get over it. And folks, I'm a person that's brutally blunt. I was just brutally blunt right now. I'm not afraid to go in front of fucking LeBron James and actually say that. Dude, your kid fucking sucks.
You sure? Because, I mean, he is like 6'9", so, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I have some very strong knees. He fucking makes a move, his balls are gone.
I have strong knees, LeBron.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Be careful. He might have that kind of reaction like he did at that basketball game where he was almost.
Well, then his chin is gone.
That'd be the only time I would take a knee like LeBron did. If I got kneed in the nuts, I just gotta go into that.
Your fucking son sucks. There ain't no covering that up. And as for him going after Stephen A like he did, it's like, dude, what the fuck are you going to do in the middle of a goddamn stadium full of security, full of a bunch of other people? You fucking
in the middle of a basketball game, you're playing it.
Yeah, you lay a fucking hand on him, and guess what? You're arrested. Stephen A would file charges on your ass. He's that petty. Well, he's also that smart too.
But I mean, not only that, but it's like
he's entitled to his opinion.
Not only that, it's like you're running up on like a 57-year-old man with bad knees, and you're like a 6'9" NBA player. It's like, do you think that makes you look tough?
But it makes Brony look worse because basically his dad has to do the fighting for him. Brony's not capable of defending himself or saying, yes, I need to improve and I'm going to work harder. He's the one Brony's the one that's coming off looking worse. I would imagine that he's perfectly capable of taking care of himself and able to speak for himself. He doesn't need his goat dad to tell others what's what, and tell them to go in this place. Brony and LeBron, Braun and Brony, it's getting very muddled here. They both should be used to criticism. And the fact that they're not, neither of them are capable of handling even the smallest amount of criticism is just very revealing about how self-centered, narcissistic, egocentric, and just out of touch both of them are.
I wish one of you douchebags would unironically ask me to call you goat.
Well said, Rick.
Thank you, Orange.
Basically,
I don't give him enough props. That was just well fucking said.
Oh, thank you, Orange.
Rick went out of his way to compare LeBron and Bronny to Longshanks and his son from Braveheart. Unbelievable, Rick. You're wonderful.
Oh boy. Go ahead, Eddie.
My son.
That's great. Thank you. That means I get to stay in the U.S. for another week.
No, if I get
that probably means LeBron's going to have to breed Bronny's girlfriend too.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like your son is trash. Like I don't know what you thought was going to happen. Everyone knows the only reason why the Lakers drafted him is because you wanted that photo op of you and your son wearing the same jersey playing on. Now that photo op is over with and now he has to go on with the rest of his career. Everyone realizes that he's garbage. He can't play. He shouldn't be in the NBA. He probably wouldn't even start at USC right now. That's how bad he is. And you paraded him around. Then you're trying to go after people in the media who are calling out exactly for what it is. So it's like, yeah, LeBron James and his ego, and the ego of all of these players. It's not just LeBron. Like, he's the biggest example of it, but all these players in the NBA today have really just turned everyone off the game. They're getting paid more money now than anyone has ever been paid before. These are guys making 50, 60, 70 million dollars a season now. You can't even get these guys to play 60 games in a year anymore. Now it's like, oh, I got a load, man. And it's like, oh, I don't want to play back to back. And it's like Joel Embiid, who somehow won MVP a couple of years ago. I think he's only played like 40 games in a season for like the last 6 years. I think he's getting paid nearly $60 million a year. He's supposed to be one of the NBA's biggest stars. Kawhi Leonard might as well have just fucking retired already. No one even knows the last time he's actually played a game. There's a whole bunch of guys who just have no humility whatsoever, and they're the ones who everyone wants to frame up as, the best players. Meanwhile, you have a white boy from Serbia who I think last night scored the first 30-20-20 game in NBA history. No one had ever done that before just a couple of nights ago, yet the league doesn't want to embrace him because he's white and he's from Europe, and they don't want a white European to be the representation of he's the best player in this league right now. So he's probably going to get screwed out of another MVP this year because they don't want to give it to him again. So they're desperately trying to find somebody else, but it's like no one else is putting up the numbers that he is as a center.
I'm thinking that with Bronny kind of flopping, maybe that was the real reason that Luka went to Los Angeles, because Luka is the son that LeBron always wanted, and now he gets to play with him. That's a theory now.
The white son that LeBron always wanted.
Well, the son that could actually play basketball. That would be.
We're just gonna call him White Chocolate for now on.
But you know what? Maybe Bronny could move over to the WNBA and have success there.
Mm-hmm.
He could be selling those McDonald's burgers.
Angel Reese still puts up 18 on him.
Hold on.
You see, Bronny needs to sell those.
Hey, maybe he could go play the WNBA with Dwayne Wade's kid. And they're both...
Whoa. Who is this guy and what did he do with Rick? Holy shit.
Are you a lizard person? Have you replaced Rick? Did you get cloned in like some Russian lab?
What?
Well,
did Rick get deported and you got put in his place?
I am Rick 17. I have been cloned repeately.
God,
why did you remind me of that?
This is the one that's allowed across the border. The other 16 send them back.
Yeah, this is the Rick from Earth like 404.
So in China, they have KFC automated rolling vending machines. You just pay for it.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine LeBron James on one of those?
Now, it's just a normal day in China when you're getting your KFC, and all of a sudden the Mongols attack.
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness! It's all the Samoans.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, one of them turns into chicken.
It's all of Rikishi's kids.
Oh my goodness!
It's all of Rikishi's kids.
I was about to say, did we finally get to Judge Dredd, where it's like eat recycled food? It's good for the environment.
I'm glad that one of them decided to wear some clothes, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think when
fuck?
I submitted this picture to AI, that was a woman. And then all of a sudden it was like, nope, that's a well-dressed Mongol. He's like the most fashionable Mongol ever.
And suddenly,
if you told me that
Chubby Momoa has come after them.
If you told me that this video was executively produced by demons, I believe it.
Yep. Yep.
The one on the left is really into it, though. I could see.
Yeah.
Hey, KFC, double down.
And then one who was really into it, he turns into chicken.
Oh my god, he turned into chicken.
So there you go. There's your intermission. Enjoy
I feel that should be racist, but it's also kind of funny too.
Yeah.
It looks like a Japanese ad for Chinese KFC.
Yeah. Yep.
This is why LeBron James.
The fried chicken jumps out of the back of the machine and attacks
Kentucky
you.
Fried Sumo.
You're not eating enough.
Good one, Les. Oh my God.
There you go.
Nothing goes better than with a watermelon in Arizona.
Now I'm gonna add a bunch of sounds to it.
It makes one
What's
want
next?
Soylent Green.
Boom, 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 boom.
Gaga or Snow White?
Boom, boom.
Holy fuck.
Boom.
Kentucky Fried Apple.
That's how you get Wendigos.
Yeah.
That was highly disturbing.
Any final thoughts on LeBron James being a buttersoft bitch?
Oh, we're still talking about that? Oh,
$60 million. Yeah, $100 billion. Learn to flop, dude. I had to learn how to fall down for a living. You have to do it too, bro.
Bronny, my final message, Bronny, it's okay to be a beta. But dude, seriously, you were a beta because you were born to LeBron.
Well, maybe he and Jaden Smith can join forces and go on tour. It's like,
I use a website with several engines on it, Sakura Media. That was Kling that made that one, but there are other ones that are part of that suite to make stuff with. But I do want to say that LeBron James looks like a guy that sells teddy bears with cameras in them.
Well, we know for a fact he's enjoyed himself at Diddy parties beforehand because he said it was to us.
I want to know if LeBron is secretly related to R. Kelly.
He's not related to Bronny, that's for sure.
I'm pretty sure if you Google,
stop spreading the rumors, Cider.
I'm pretty sure if you Google hard enough, you can find a picture out there of R. Kelly and
Cider going hood rat
James.
on this shit.
If you Google a picture of R. Kelly and LeBron James together, you probably will never find it. They probably have never been in the same room together. Little did you know they're the same man.
Maybe we were just been mispronouncing his name this whole time. It's really Brony James.
We've not had surviving LeBron. Okay, we've not had any of those.
Is he LeBron Jr. or is he legally Bronny? Because if he's legally Bronny,
because it's LeBron Jr., but they list his first name as Bronny, which just
they should. I just get it, but if he was on his birth
Bronny
certificate
Jr.
as Bronny, I would need a stepladder to slap LeBron.
It's spelled that way. He couldn't spell Bronny correctly. It's spelled with 2 O's.
Well, when he first said it, I thought he was making a joke about LeBron James being like the quicker picker upper, like that kind of like as was a joke about paper towels. And then I look up and it's like, oh shit, it's a person. The person is called Bronny, a real living person.
And of course they're black, so they misspelled the name entirely.
No, when I hear Bronny and I initially mispronounced it as Brony, I keep thinking of is this like a My Little Pony type person?
Yeah, he's secretly named Twilight Sparkle James.
Mm-hmm.
And they just call him Brony. They
might as well
perpetually fuck with him.
Absolutely.
I thought it was Brony all this time. So I thought
so did his classmates.
Was he a fan of the My Little Pony series? That's why I was very confused.
I don't. That guy. He doesn't look like him.
We need to move on. This is
Rick.
We're going down way too far in a rabbit hole here.
Yeah, you're asking about the legitimacy of a man who refers to himself as GOAT. It defies all logic. So there we go.
With a capital T.
Yeah. Speaking of devil worship, let's talk about Lady Gaga here because there was a video over the weekend of her Saturday Night Live appearance that went viral, and people are starting to ask questions about whether she's a devil worshiping witch. So we talked about her not too long ago. She had a new music video out there that looked like it was written from the depths of hell. And if you guys remember this whole video here, talking about her lovely inspirational friend Marina Ivanovich, who's also a demonic witch. This one went down quite a rabbit hole as well. Let's just look at this for a couple minutes.
By Marina Abramovic in New York.
I was just speaking about her today. I am obsessed with this woman. She is so incredible.
Her question for you is, it's quite abstract. Who creates limits?
We do. We create our own limits. She is a limitless human being.
Wait, we create our own limits?
She is so incredible.
She might as well just be saying we create our own limits, not God. That might as well be what she's been saying right there.
Well, I mean, it's It's a cool like Gatorade slogan, right? But not like a lifestyle slogan.
Spencer, we've been covering this for several weeks now. This is not just about an SNL skit. This has been going on for literally like 2 years on this show. Plus, I just did like a 5-week series on Satanic Panic. So don't make it seem like we're just talking about a Saturday Night Live skit here.
Spencer, for what it's worth, I've not seen the Saturday Night Live bit, so I cannot offer any.
Are we watching?
And for the record, we're not even at the Saturday Night Live skit yet. They're talking about a completely unrelated video.
We're just talking about some random. We're just talking about some random demon worshiping witch woman.
We haven't even played the video yet. For this one second.
I went to go see her exhibit at MoMA. She is such an incredible piece of art in herself. And she is limitless. She is limitless in every way that I can even, in my limit.
Can she pee standing up though?
Raven brain that I do not possess the limitless brain that she does. I look at her and she is so free. She's sitting right now for like 3 months in MoMA all day long.
Holy crap.
And she's just in a state of nothing, of freedom. She goes somewhere else.
Can I leave early?
And to be able to do that, you have to be limitless. And for yourself, she did this one piece that I think is the most powerful.
So limitless is just like being a couch surfing weirdo? Is that limitless?
I know. My God.
It sounds like she's just she's making shit up.
She looks like Courtney Love.
Babbling out. Now, did she go on like this when Shia LaBeouf did pretty much the same shtick in an art gallery as well, where he just sat there and people could come up and talk to him? And I mean, this is just so bizarre.
The worst thing is it's not even original. Like someone did in the 1970s. Some woman did in the 1970s. Went into an art exhibit completely naked. You can do whatever you want to her body for 12 hours. There was another guy.
Not Yoko Ono?
Not Yoko Ono. It's some other. It's some French.
Some other nut
artist.
job.
Yeah, one of her friends.
The French are notorious for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, but it was like a real kind of exhibit. But it was the first time ever done in a museum. So, like, even her bloodletting, her blood rituals aren't even interesting enough to be on. They just sold a banana on a wall for $20 million. Come on.
Ever since Guernica, art has gone down.
It was like 210 million or some shit.
It's probably more, if I'm being honest with you. But
it's a banana.
And it's when you are around someone like Marina that you, as myself, a self-proclaimed pop performance artist, want to go home and slit my wrists and I am nothing. I have achieved no sense of art.
Now we're promoting this shit.
She is
Holy
so
crap.
boundless.
You're an Oscar winner.
That was a real quote. I didn't doctor that at all. That's exactly what she said about this.
Let's get
an Oscar
We've
winner.
heard enough.
You know,
Get to the meat of it. What the fuck happened at SNL?
I've met a few of my heroes and have the luxury to shake their hands. I have never thought about going home and unaliving myself for anything self-harming ever. Like I was so happy to just shake their hand. I never wanted to watch it, but other than that.
Yeah, so she hosted Saturday Night Live. And I do want to point this out here too, because I know a lot of people think that, this had to have been something that, the writers at SNL did for her. She had no input on it. Actually, the people who host Saturday Night Live actually do have a lot of input in the stuff that they do. Did you guys see that Shane Gillis bit from like 2 weeks ago? I know some people were saying it was the funniest thing SNL ever did, the couple of beers skit. Yeah. Some people were claiming that was the funniest thing they've done in years. Like, that was not the funniest thing they've done in years. Like, it was funny, but I mean, it's definitely not the funniest thing that they've done. Like, they're still talking about that bit that they did with Scarlett Johansson a couple of months ago, where they were basically talking about her old meat curtains and then made her feel very, very uncomfortable about it. But I'll probably play that video at another time here.
Which
so
is
this
strange
was
because her husband is one of the hosts.
Yeah. Was it Colin Yost? I believe his name. Yeah. It was one of those type of things. But yeah, so oh god, I probably wouldn't report that. I wouldn't speak to that guy again. That's all I'm saying there. But so this was the sketch that made a lot of people go, what are we doing here? Is this comedy? Is this entertainment now? This apparently it is. Just remember, guys, it's all jokes. It's all funny. It's all supposed to be for one big laugh. So this is the skit that they did last Saturday.
When you lie about a birthday at Friendly's, you must pay the ultimate price. Sin! 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 Oh, steady me, indica me, bring us Lamastu. Behold the summoner, behold Lamastu. Lamastu has seen through you.
Oh, great. Now they've summoned Lamashtu.
Now drink of the blood of Lamashtu.
Guys, just drink the blood, Jenny. It's free. Relax.
Drink. No.
By the way, I just want to point out, unironically, there's at least 3 people in this video who have mocked Jesus Christ in 2 entirely unrelated bits and entertainment that was unrelated to Saturday Night Live. So I just noticed that connection there. It was like, oh yeah, that guy also played a gay Jesus in another thing that was terrible too. I know Cider has his hands up. He wants to comment on this real quick.
I'm just confused why the didgeridoo is now a sound of evil. What did the Aboriginal people do to deserve that? It's off.
They're Aboriginal. They were all demon worshiping people anyway.
No,
right?
ever since Nicole Kidman blew into a didgeridoo and polluted it because women are not supposed to use a didgeridoo, it's all gone downhill.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Back to this comedy bit.
She's a terrible actor.
Baptized by the mother of beasts, the mistress of insanity, the magician Pazuzu cannot save you now.
Limitless.
The demon dog.
Pazuzu is the demon from The Exorcist, by the way.
Check if it's someone's
Yeah.
birthday.
We send someone to the hospital you were born at. And with over 100 locations on the East Coast, it's not hard.
Hey, is there a restroom?
Oh, sure. Back there and to the left.
Okay, well, at least the blood of Lamashtu didn't awaken anyone.
The blood of Lamashtu awakens Molaram.
I feel so sorry for Kean and Irie Williams.
This just keeps going. This is this is not over yet.
I just want to point this out here. It's like the bit could have been like 30 seconds in and out, and like we get it, but it just keeps going on. It just continues.
Even the canned laughter gave up.
The point where the demon with the Wayne Lamashtu shows up and starts doing the thing, that's where you end it. Like that's where you end it.
No.
Like now we're like another whole minute in this. She's in a shark cage. There's a skull.
She's tied up in bondage in the cage. That's how the skit ends.
Are they recreating Temple of Doom?
Kind
of, yeah.
The satanic references this isn't even like you can't even make fun of this. I don't even think Mystery Science Theater could make fun of this. This is just a thing that happened.
I saw the beginning of the skit, and essentially they just like went right into this whole thing. So there was no setup or anything. It was just demon worship right off the bat. Like
it's funny, right? The premise is funny, right, Eddie? Just thinking of as a comedy guy, like, oh, the Friendlies guys, they're so embarrassing with their happy birthday song.
That's absolutely
fun of them.
That's
turn it on its head, you know?
Absolutely, yes.
But
they went right into it. Like there was no lead up to it. It was, hey, now we're demons and we're all demons. Yeah, there was.
So Spencer, is the whole point of this bit supposed to be they're making fun of people first? Like, did anyone get the satire in that in anything that we just played there?
Yeah,
the full 2 minutes that
first 30 seconds.
Apparently they were just mocking people who thought that everything was satanic. Did you catch any of that context in what we just saw in here?
Spencer,
I got that they know that your birthday's
supposed
fake.
To, if you lie about a birthday, that you will be punished by demonic forces, and there's not much humor in this. This is not like when Monty Python said, no one's expecting the Spanish Inquisition, and then the Spanish Inquisition shows up. They at least set it up, and they go with it and make a funny bit. Here, I mean, I didn't see the whole thing. This is the first time I've seen this, but this is not funny.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
The satanic
having the
ritual is what
birthday
we're supposed to
Inquisition
laugh at.
show up. That would have been hilarious. Like they're sitting there and they're like, she says, "Oh, guys, it's not really my birthday. I lied and I'm not really."
They turned
30.
it into like
No, I don't
and
think
then
that-
and then they give her a hard time though. And she's like, "What is the birthday Inquisition going to show up?" And then the
right.
friendliest birthday Inquisition. No one expects the friendliest birthday Inquisition.
Not only
that would have
they-
been funny.
They could have went if they wanted to keep the demon aspect or the demonic aspect. They could have like tried to do like a parody of the Wicker Man, and like try to like
that would have been great.
Try to like everything, and then it leads up to this giant sacrifice for your birthday when the cake goes off, right? Like.
Yeah,
Well, even
or
then,
you
right?
could have had the cake roll out, and then the
That's when
Pazuzu pops out at the end.
Right.
Pops out of the cake.
It's not your birthday.
Jeez, Catherine. Oh my God. Why do you gotta be the center of attention with your birthday? It's not even your birthday, really.
You can turn it on its head completely, right? So you got this whole celebration. It's not really your 30th birthday. It's your 32nd birthday. And they make fun of women lying about their birthdays. And again, they could have done that.
Yeah, reveal the truth.
But in all of these things, it's less than a minute. Not a 3-minute agonizing reminding us that some demonic entity will have its vengeance upon you if you lead the Friendlies people in their microwave lava cakes astray.
Now, let me ask: this Friendlies, is this a real place?
Yes.
All right,
There's over
I've
100
never heard of
locations.
it. We
It's all
don't have
Friendly's
anything like that.
restaurants are East Coast.
Yeah.
We don't have
to
that
Philadelphia,
anywhere
I think.
here in El Paso. So
You're lucky.
that joke's going. I would have thought Friendlies did not exist. So you see, the whole thing is already failing. And I
What you should have said is that maybe if they should have did this like a Carl's Jr., like a Burger King, people would have gotten
or a
the joke.
McDonald's.
they missed
McDonald's
it.
used to have
Denny's.
birthdays.
They missed it. We had
Wow.
Five Nights at Freddy's that's huge with the youth. The Zoomer kids that are in college now love Five Nights at Freddy's. So they could have gone to some busted ass animatronic pizza house.
Some Chuck E.
And then when
Cheese.
she lied about her birthday, all the evil ass looking animatronics come to life.
That would have been hilarious.
Or
She goes to
something
Chuck
that
E. Cheese to
audiences-
celebrate her 40th birthday because she wants to.
Or
Yeah,
something,
right?
Or something like that. To have something. This is for me, and I imagine for many people, a very obscure restaurant
Right.
chain.
Yeah.
We're not going to get the joke, and I disagree with Spencer's idea that this is making fun of the reaction. I don't think anyone is really reacting, and believe me, I don't like saying that because, as we all know, Spencer is the love of my life, but he's completely wrong in this. He's trying to put in something that is not
here's
there.
the problem, right? Because if you're trying to argue that this is making fun of the reaction from the religious right, in the skit itself, there has to be a character that represents the reaction from the religious right. It's like, if you're going to do this as a bit, right, there has to be a character that represents that overreaction. It's like, don't you guys see that this is all satanic? And everyone's just looking at him. It's like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, there's nothing demonic going on here. As it gets more and more evil as the bit progresses. Like, that's how you set up a bit like that. It's like, you have the one guy who sees what the audience is seeing is going, does no one else think that this is crazy? And everyone else just no-sells it. That's how you sell that bit.
Right. She doesn't go crazy over the demonic stuff. She goes crazy over, oh my God, I have to still keep going with the lie that it's not my birthday. Oh my God. It's like, bitch, there's a ceremony going. There's a seance next to you.
I really
And I
don't.
with the exception of Pazuzu, and that's only because I've been doing an Exorcist retrospective, all these other demonic names, if they're real, are going to fly over my head because I've not heard of them. And there might be people who've never even heard of Pazuzu.
I only know about it because of the Futurama episode.
See, I know it because
Here's
of
the
The
thing.
Exorcist.
I'll let Orange go, then I'll make my comment here.
As a person who is non-practicing in religion, whether this is for Satan worship or not, it's just not fucking appropriate. The fact of the matter that they continue to push this shit, they are, and I am going to disagree with Spencer here. She made a fucking music video. She did this. She's fucking hanging out with Satan worshippers. What more do you fucking need? That Lady Gaga just is a fucking Satanist. I'm sorry. But this may not come across as them mocking the religious right, but this is certainly coming out that, oh, we're Satanists. We're gonna mock the Satanist bit, but because you all are too fucking gullible to realize that we actually do worship it, but openly we're just going to mock it itself. So you all think we're not really that. It's a fucking mind fuck is what it is. It's a fucking mind fuck.
I think Spencer's too hyper focused on the Saturday Night Live sketch, completely isolated from everything else. This is not just about the Saturday Night Live skit, as we did just a couple of weeks ago. This is about a pattern of behavior that we've talked about, specifically involving this one person over the course of the last 2 years. This is not just about a 2-minute Saturday Night Live skit. It's like, oh, here we go, Lady Gaga doing something openly satanic again, associating herself with people who are openly satanic again.
Well, I don't want to beat up on Spencer because, like I said, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Orange.
As I said, I am a non-practicing person who's Catholic. I'm non-practicing. I ain't looking at this from a religious point of view. I'm looking at this from a pattern of behavior. And the pattern simply fucking says, this bitch is fucking promoting Satanism. That's what it comes across as.
I want to play this here. Just go ahead, Rick, and then I'll play this.
No, I was going to say that with Spencer's take, and believe me, I don't want to say that we're beating up on Spencer. We love Spencer. All of us here love Spencer. Some of us more than others. But I would just say I look at it as this is just not funny. I'm not even looking at it from any sense of satanic thing or me reacting about it. I mean, you're talking to someone who is going through an exorcist retrospective, so I'm familiar with the ideas of demonic forces and all and that in film. But this is just not a funny bit, because if you can hear, the audience is not laughing all that much, if at all. And kind of as a side note, it's sad to say that I don't know which one of those actresses was Lady Gaga. I don't know which one it was.
Well, you're just freaking blind. And
bitch in the hood with bitch in the hood with the cup.
So it's like, I really don't care.
Here's the thing, and it's like, this is the problem in a nutshell, is that people don't connect patterns of behaviors when it comes to stuff. They don't put the dots together. So, well, you go back to like situations like Diddy, right? And everyone knows about Diddy now because what happened over like the last year and a half regarding him. But if you go back to a lot of the interviews that he's been doing for 30 years, he talked about very openly the pattern of behavior that now just got recently exposed in the last year and a half. You would say these things on all of these interviews and all of these shows, and when he said these things openly, everyone always took it as, oh, he's being funny, oh, it's just a joke. And now you go back and you watch it in its context, you're like, oh, he wasn't joking, he was actually being serious, and now he's up on charges for these things. If you go back to anyone who's been exposed over the course of the last few years, we talked about the whole thing with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, right? And you go back and see who he was connected to and who he was associated with, the pictures that he's out there with these individuals. You start seeing these things, you end up saying, oh, okay, so the tales were out there then, no one was really paying attention to it. Like I said, we go back to the John Podesta emails. That's how we even learned about half these people. We weren't supposed to know their names, and now we know their names and know who they're associated with. And this is another great example of this here too. If you guys remember, this was a while ago. This is about 10 years ago or so. Jim Carrey went on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He did this. Everyone assumed that this was a bit. So he did this whole bit, and he's explaining to you essentially what's going on behind closed doors. Now, here's the problem. He presents this to you as comedy so that you don't take it seriously. But when you see how all these things have come to reveal itself over the course of the last 10 years, especially some of these bigger stories, you realize, maybe he wasn't joking. Maybe it was just us who wasn't taking this seriously. This was Jim Carrey a while back ago. This is when Jimmy Kimmel still had hair. Jesus, that's been a long time ago. But here's his little bit on the Jimmy Kimmel skit a while back.
Is that a gang sign? Have you, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? Like, for years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, and they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things. And, you know, and you know, look at him trying to come with that. It's hilarious. And, you know, and I'm sick of, hold on a second. You know what they're trying to do? Who? This thing is buzzing. Hold on. They're trying to turn us into, you know, consumer drones of some sort. Hold on, I just got to get this.
And yeah.
Yeah, listen, I'm in the middle of blowing the lid off some...
What happened?
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I was temporarily interrupted by my iPhone 6 Plus.
So here's the thing, right?
He really is brilliant. Holy crap.
So we sit there and we laugh it up like it's one big joke. And then the next thing you know, some big name celebrity gets associated with a huge scandal that just so happens to involve some very nefarious stuff that went on behind closed doors. And then we go back and we watch these old episodes and we think to ourselves, maybe it wasn't all of a joke. Maybe he was actually telling the truth. And then we just took it as a joke because we are the ones who refuse to believe that some of these people are serious when they say exactly what they say in public. Not even in private, in public now. So it just gets, by the way, he mentioned something about, you know, them going naked, like in the woods and stuff like that. That's actually a witchcraft ritual. And it's funny, there's been a number of, no, there's mostly women there, if I'm being honest with you, but there are a number of people who have admitted to doing those type of rituals openly in the public. And we have addressed some of them here on this very show. So I'm just saying, you know, at some point, you're going to have to start seeing a pattern here. Or, look, Cider, we've talked about this here a long time ago as well. It's like, do people need to see Fragile Drip before they believe that it actually happened? Or could we at least get to a conclusion that perhaps there was something going on nefariously that we should have been paying attention to a long time ago?
We're neck deep in what's going on with this Epstein file stuff because now the government's coming out and telling us, well, we got to redact some stuff for national security. And I talked about this a year ago when all this stuff started being promoted, that they weren't going to do that it was a national security issue to go telling the world that, every elite person we have in this country, every person in the controls of power, just about every bureaucrat with the controls over other bureaucrats has had their hands in a child's pants. We can't do that. Now, I know I'm exaggerating. Not every single person who's ever worked for the government ever has diddled children, but by golly, it's certainly seeming like quite a few of them have. So the big problem is that this stuff gets confused with spirituality. Because these people seek to justify what they're doing. They can't just be freaks and accept that this is wrong in their own minds. They have to go seek out a higher power that says, no. It's perfectly fine to you to go to do this stuff. And so over time, you end up with comedians and things like that trying to, I would say, make a joke out of it because you have, look at Robin Williams and all the crazy jokes he made about Hollywood and what was going on. And that kind of stuff. And it's not just because he killed himself, but he was a prominent comedian that did enjoy a bit of mental health services every now and then. So we know that comedy, as he was describing it, is tragedy just with a smile. You're laughing at bad things. So when you see Jim Carrey talk about all of this, is he explaining that there is a massive group of people in Hollywood that control the world? No. No, I think he's making a joke that there are elements of Hollywood that can be attributed to that. But I think that the blood ritual, everybody in the naked thing is supposed to be funny. Him being mind controlled by the phone is supposed to be funny. But when he's talking about that there's some bad stuff, and that's being talked about right now, so I want to laugh about it. And that, if you remember, this is around the time when the Epstein stuff, that fake Epstein list or the real Epstein list, depends on where you come from on it, got leaked. That's around the time he started going around talking about this stuff. Because he was on it, remember? And so he started insisting, I'm not part of that kind of stuff. He started, of course, making distance between it. And I think this is around the same time as that. So again, as comedians do, he's making a joke based on the zeitgeist that has a little bit of truth to it. I'm sure there's a control network, because we heard from Terry Crews that there's a gay mafia, that this gay guy just walked right up to him in the middle of a Hollywood party, grabbed a hold of his ding dong in front of his wife and said, "You're so lucky." And it just went about the rest of his party. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah, like I said, for those of you guys who haven't know, I've literally gone into probably one of the deepest dives I possibly could have over the last 5 weeks over on the Sunday show, The Bible Lens. I did 5 weeks basically talking about how we got to this point, to the 1940s to the 1950s, what happened in the 60s and 70s, the 80s and 90s, where that term satanic panic came from, that everyone thinks that, it was just, a bunch of wacky Christians saying everything was demonic, and then leading up to exactly what was actually happening during that time period that they were covering up. I did a whole deep dive into it for a 5-week series. Go back and watch that series. Like I said, at some point, people are just going to have to wake up, and there's just going to be people who are just going to go down with the ship. I mean, that's just the way that it is, because it's like it is what it is, but you can't say that you didn't know. That's all I'll say there. So, any final thoughts on here before we go on to our humdinger of a closer here?
Well, I don't. Again, I'm not bashing Spencer, and to a certain point, I kind of see his point, and I'll say that sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. That people maybe are reading too much into things, but I think that whole thing about the Satan worshiping at the friendlies, it just wasn't funny. I don't. I can't say that it's a signal of something else or not. It just wasn't funny as a comedy bit. A lot of this stuff is not funny, and it's tiresome. And if you keep going over the same territory, you're either going to have people who don't believe it or believe it to a degree that it just seems exaggerated. Not saying that it isn't or is. I'm just saying that that's the perception.
I'd like to stand up for Jim Carrey. One absolutely brilliant comedian, and as you can see that performance, you can see every bit of nuance in his performance, and it was amazing, like chills almost. Because if you took it as a comedian, it's funny. If you took it seriously, holy crap, you can feel the goosebumps almost coming up on your arm somewhat if you took it seriously as hard as you could. Jim Carrey has gone through a lot, and he's probably the only person who's actively said Hollywood changes you internally and spiritually. And so when he does a lot of these Illuminati kind of jokes, he's speaking from experience in just absorbing what Hollywood does to you. And Christopher Lee said the same thing about just trying to get into Satanism and the occult in Hollywood in general. And like for Jim Carrey, he actively describes himself as outward. Jim Carrey doesn't exist. It's just a body. It's just a thing. And to defend him on that also, he actively is a born-again Christian. And he does go to churches and does pastorize.
Jim Carrey, to his credit, he's been semi-retired from Hollywood with the exception of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. Those are the only movies that he's actually willing to come out of retirement to film at this point.
His biggest hit,
last 10 years.
Two of his biggest hits from Bruce Almighty and Liar Liar are done by the producer. Is like one of the only real devout, like really hardcore devout Christian producers in Hollywood, and they gave him two of his biggest movies. Like Jim Carrey has come a long way into where he is now, and so I just wanted to commend him. Like it takes a lot. It takes a lot to break that mind control that Hollywood has.
Yeah, and just last point here, like if you're looking at this as like from like left to right perspective, it's like you're completely missing the bigger picture that's happening here. Like we're talking about a game that's far greater than just politics. Because I mean, yeah, I think what was it Carly said here? I mean, this goes back to like Freemasonry and a whole bunch of other stuff that we've talked about on other shows here before. Like, I mean, look, when someone tells you that they're a witch, maybe at some point you should probably believe them because maybe it's not a joke. That's all I'm saying there. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, he said did it for the money. That too. I mean, that as well. I think
Good for
honestly,
him. It's a brilliant role.
Remember, his last film, I think, was with that Kick-Ass 2, and that was before Sandy Hook, and he straight up said that he didn't want to do those type of movies anymore, and that was a big reason why he left in the first place. And Sonic the Hedgehog is a movie that, for the most part, is to a younger audience, and obviously more nostalgia video game fans, so he probably is far more comfortable doing a film for that fan base than what he was doing previously. So it's like, that's all it is. So.
And he's being highly commended for it. It's brilliant. Like, it's unbelievable.
An actor like Jim Carrey can't do a movie like The Number 23 and come out of it same way that
Butterfly
Gay
Effect.
Mountain cowboy guy Heath Ledger couldn't come back from being the Joker. When you play characters that have it, like I'm worried about Joaquin Phoenix. I think about him often, honestly, with what he's done with the Joker and how he just randomly backed out of that gay movie that he was like egging on to be more gay. So I think it's one of those situations where Jim Carrey got his toe into the deep end, then he wrote that really weird love letter to Emma Stone, and that got really awkward, and he just sort of backed out of reality around the time that the Epstein accusations came out, made it clear he wasn't part of that list as far as he knew it was fake, and he certainly wasn't part of it. And then I think there was one thing where he was he climbed over the wall to get into a car with Seinfeld, with Jerry Seinfeld. And that was like the weirdest thing I had seen him ever do out of character, like off screen. It wasn't like promotion for a movie. And he literally just climbed the gate out of his own house, one side and down the other, to get into a car with Seinfeld to ride around and talk about comedy. And all he wanted to talk about was the meaning of life, and they didn't have any jokes. It was that one where he takes guys out for coffee in his Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
And Carrey's just sitting there talking about the meaning of life, and Seinfeld's like dying, trying to get a joke out of him, and it's just like straight up life philosophy. And
him and Norm Macdonald's podcast together is unbelievable, because then he completely lets it out and just becomes the comedian that he knows.
Two Canadians, what do you know?
Yeah. Love letter.
Remember when Canada used to give us good stuff?
Remember Canada?
We keep blaming Canada.
Let's talk about this one. This is the closer here for tonight. Gal Gadot and Rachel Ziegler hate each other, and they absolutely cannot stand one another. But they're promoting a major movie that's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars when it's all said and done. And this was the scene from the Oscars that happened. It's been 2 weeks now, a week and a half since the Oscars. How long has it been now?
About 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and everyone was noting the body language that these two do not like each other one bit. We've recycled this one here, told you about what's been going on here with these people. Rachel Ziegler is a moron who has never been in anything that can be deemed as a success, both financially or critically. And she's in a movie with Gal Gadot, who's Israeli, so it makes sense that she's pro-Israel. But Rachel here, the Latina girl from New Jersey, it's very, very pro-Palestine, and it's an emotional investment for her. So these two are beefing over real-life issues, and they're supposed to be promoting a $300 million movie that's coming out in a few weeks. So here's the
hold on.
The Oscars.
Hold on. Before you start, is it just me, or does this look like that meme? I wanted a trad wife, but then I got a tard wife.
Yeah.
If only she had the leash.
Oh, so this is her from the video.
Please welcome Rachel Ziegler and Gal Gadot.
Gadot. The dote.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
I don't think they looked at each other once during this whole video, during this whole show. Actually,
what's her name? Selena. She actually won that whole thing because she actually fit inside the video frame. Gadot was like towering over it.
No,
Andre the
Selena, it's Rachel.
Rachel, sorry.
You're confusing her with Selena Gomez, who was in Emilia Perez.
All Mexicans look alike after a while.
She's not Mexican. Well, Rachel Ziegler is
The
not
body
Mexican.
language
she's
right
not.
there. That
What
body
happened now?
language was completely. That body language was screaming, "I want to kill this person next to me."
Mm-hmm.
Rachel
Yeah, and-
Zegler doesn't just hate Gal Gadot. She fucking wants to kill her.
And I'm pretty sure Gal Gadot doesn't like her either. So it's like, it's going to be
Oh,
hilarious to
it's
see
very
how this
clear she
unfolds. Once Disney is done marketing this movie and they no longer have to pretend like they like each other, it's going to be very,
Well-
very interesting to see.
Well,
how
to
this
be fair,
unfolds.
this had been pretty much the issue even before they started production. So they were having difficulties, especially whenever Rachel Zegler would go on about unrelated matters. And
Well, yeah,
Gal Gadot
Rachel
was always
Zegler was
expected
the
to-
one who decided she was just going to come out of the woodwork and be like, "Oh, free Palestine!" And it's like, "Yeah, fuck my Israeli co-star, that bitch." And it
No,
was
not
like, "Well,
just that.
you
I mean,
guys
just
got a movie coming out in like 3 months?"
It's not just that. It's the description of Snow White as being about not needing the prince and maybe cutting the actor who played the prince out of the film. And Gal Gadot, whatever.
To be honest, to be fair, that was her pissing off the fan base for Snow White before she led up to her
Yes.
eventually pissing off her co-star.
But the problem is that she was dragging Gadot into this by almost insisting that she support Rachel Zegler when she clearly was not, and she's had more experience. Gal Gadot, whatever you think of her as an actress, she's had more experience in the film industry than Rachel Zegler. And as a side note, my understanding was that Gal Gadot was supposed to present documentary feature, but that went for the very pro-Palestine, anti-Israel documentary No Other Land. And so I think she was moved or asked to be moved rather than present a propaganda anti-Israel film an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
I can't unhear Gadot.
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 Disney scales back the Snow White Hollywood premiere amongst the Rachel Zegler Gal Gadot controversies. I wonder what the controversy about Gal Gadot, outside the fact that she's Jewish, or Israeli. It says there that this is Disney hosting the Hollywood premiere of Snow White on March 15th, but the studio won't be rolling out a robust red carpet like it always does. Afternoon festivities will include a pre-party and a screening of the El Capitan Theater, where the two co-stars here who play the evil queen will attend. However, the red carpet will not include dozens of media outlets usually invited by Disney to interview the cast and the creatives. There will be no interviews done during this premiere, so coverage will be limited to photographers and the house crew. The studio did not comment for this story, but scaled back plans amidst controversies surrounding the film here. I mean, the controversy is that it's trash, and they know that it's trash, and then they know that their co-stars is a giant dumbass. And then said Thompson, the toxic Disney fans have questioned. Here's the leading up here. Some of the toxic Disney fans have questioned Snow White being played by Zielger when her casting was announced because she's a Latina star, and she's not a good actress either, and she's never been in anything that's drawn any money ever. The West Side Story star, which flopped, also faced backlash when she called the 1937 original dated because the prince literally stalked Snow White. I wonder why that would upset people. In an interview at Variety, D22 last year, just recycling her stupid comment, she says she's not going to be saved by the prince. She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's going to be dreaming about being the leader she knows that she can be. So it's like, okay, we're still doing 1970s feminism. That's great. Peter Dinklage spoke out about, remember that whole thing? Because Peter Dinklage, I believe, got all those midgets fired from the movie.
Fuck Peter Dinklage.
That dick. Talking about the movie's portrayal of little people portraying negative stereotypes. It's like, literally, no offense to anything now, but sort of taken aback. He's
Thank
like,
God thank God he got slapped by Hornswoggle. I'm so happy.
But when you're telling a story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, take a step back and look at what you're doing here. Yeah, you're telling a story about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
But what ended up happening was that they hired actors who were actually taller than Rachel Zegler as the dwarfs, and so it made even less sense.
Yep. We're talking about a different approach with these 7 characters. I've been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. Why? Who cares? No one actually cares here. And I think Ziegler tried to pour water a little bit on her comments previously. She said that I interpret people's sentiments towards the film as passions. She said in Mexico earlier this month. It says that what an honor to be a part of something that people feel so passionately about. We're not always going to agree with everyone who surrounds us, but all we can do is do our best. She had to have gotten a word from Disney saying, you better not make any more stupid fucking comments before this movie comes out, or we will literally make you disappear to somewhere in Guatemala.
She made sure to say that in Mexico too, because I guarantee most of the Mexicans that are going to go watch this movie are white.
Mm-hmm. World politics has come into play as Ziegler has promoted Free Palestine on social media. At the same time, Gadot, an Israeli's become outspoken supporter of Israel on social media, as well as a passionate speech that she delivered on March 4th, where she honored the Anti-Defamation League's annual summit in New York City. Never did I imagine that on the streets of the United States, different cities and around the world, we would see people not condemning Hamas, but celebrating it, justifying and cheering on the massacre of Jews. Well, lady, let me tell you about the Book of Revelation, because it's going to get worse. Gadot says that she stayed away from politics in the past, and she feels like she needed to speak up after the October 7th, 2023 attack from Hamas, obviously. So, yeah, you got a bunch of, pro-Palestine people associated with this, and then, of course, you have... So, this whole thing's a dumpster fire. So, it's like, it's Gal Gadot versus Ziegler, it's pro-Palestine people versus Gadot, there's, like, MAGA people versus Rachel Ziegler. Like, this whole thing is an absolute dumpster fire from top to the bottom here. And the movie comes out, when does this trash come out? Doesn't say exactly when this movie gets released.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the next couple of weeks, and it's not going to do very well here. So they know that it's a massive dumpster, and this is exactly why they will not let the media ask any questions about anything regarding this film whatsoever. And it comes out in 11 days, so I believe it's next Friday when this film comes out. I believe the production budget for this is $270 million is the production budget for this movie. So... yeah, Orange, I'll start here with you. You want to go in on this one, so what is your take on Disney balking on the Snow White premiere here?
Well, folks, I've been covering this whole fucking controversial bullshit since its inception. First, the UK premiere gets dialed down, and this one. That shows you that Rachel Ziegler has completely pissed off everyone. Now, I am not going to give all of the credit to Rachel Ziegler. Gal Gadot also jumped on the fucking gravy train of fucking denigrating the original. She was the one that was the first to say, she's not going to be saved by the prince. Bitch, you don't need to be going on that train. Get off it. But with Rachel Ziegler, she didn't just stop there. No, she had to just keep running her fucking mouth. She was warned by Disney. This also was verified. I covered that too in a video on my channel. It's my highest viewed one, actually. She was warned ahead of time. Shut your fucking mouth. You're causing us problems. So now this is the consequences. It's like, look, we have to fucking not have a grandiose premiere because you couldn't keep your fucking mouth shut. You couldn't even pretend to like your co-star at the fucking Oscars. People can see through that shit now. We are in the age of social media. We are in the age of the internet. We can see all of it. If you fucking fart while you are in your bikini, somebody will fucking see that. And by the way, folks, she puts a lot of fucking photos of herself in a bikini on Instagram. I noticed that just before I got off Instagram. But the point of the matter is,
research.
They have to save money, so they're dialing back the premieres because, believe it or not, Disney has to shell out money for that. They have to pay for the venue. They have to do all that shit. And guess what? They can't afford to do that anymore. So they're minimizing the freaking loss that they're about to suffer. Because I guarantee you, folks, their original projections was 67 to 70 million opening weekend. It's now down to 53 million. And with them constantly dialing back the Hollywood premiere, the UK premiere, they let her go to Japan to make herself look pretty in front of everybody over there, because most of the controversy is a controversy over there. But the point is, she's pissed off the Gal Gadot pissed off the anti-Israel group. The pro-Palestine or the anti-Palestine group, Rachel Ziegler pissed off. Rachel Ziegler pissed off all the original Snow White fans. Rachel Ziegler pissed off everybody. Or
essentially,
Peter Dinklage pissed off everybody. There's
You've
too many
pissed off
people boycotting this film.
Exactly. You've pissed off anyone who was even thinking about watching this movie. You pissed them all off. You might as well just CW this shit.
And not only that, I did the math when I was doing the cautionary tale shit video that I did. Mm-hmm. When she did the whole "May Trump supporters never know peace" thing, you made sure that most of those people won't go watch your film. That's 78 million people. So the average ticket price nowadays is $10.75, $10.78. You're looking at over $850 million that could have gone into box office, but now isn't, because you couldn't shut your mouth. So yeah, Rachel Ziegler, I want to wish you congratulations. You are the dumbest, the most fucking stupid, and self-admitted narcissist, by the way, folks, person that I have ever met. You kept on doubling down when your Disney bosses told you, look, please dial it back for the love of God. And you wouldn't. You are dumber than you make blondes look like fucking Mensa geniuses. That's how dumb you are. So congratulations, Rachel Ziegler. You fucking played yourself so brilliantly that there's nothing you could say that will make anybody want to hire you again after this bomb. I mean, Disney will hire you for the Phantom of the Opera thing coming out, but that's about it. And even then, once they realize, fuck, we can't really use her for anything, she's useless now. You may have an objectively good singing voice, but you might as well take your fucking flat ass to OnlyFans, because that's all you're going to be fucking good for after this movie flops. Those are my thoughts, folks. I'll be giving more thoughts on it later tomorrow because I want to do a single thing for my channel. But yeah, she fucked herself. She should have did that for herself on OnlyFans.
Good. You know what? Good. Like I said, she's never been in anything that could be remotely mistaken as good. Like, again, I'm gonna roll off a Rolodex of films. She hasn't even been in that many films, so she's a plant to begin things here. And then here's her filmography here. Here's her resume: West Side Story, flop; Shazam 2, flop; Hunger Games. Can we even consider Hunger Games a success? Maybe a moderate success at that, but it was still the lowest drawing Hunger Games movie ever. So there's that. Y2K. Did anyone see Y2K? That's what I thought. Spellbound, which I believe was like some Apple TV, Netflix stuff that just got dumped onto streaming. And then this movie. And then that's it. That's it. That's everything she's ever been in ever. Eddie, what do you think?
I'm not gonna go watch the movie. I don't know.
He's kind of going in and out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think your audio's out just a little bit.
I know. Yeah, no, it's. I know. I started. Anyway, no one's gonna watch this movie. I'm not gonna watch this movie. I don't know, dude. This movie stinks.
It wasn't.
Well, it might have been a mild.
That
success,
Hunger
but it was
Games
very
movie.
long.
It broke
was very
even.
long.
It broke even. It did not reach the threshold for considered box office success. Breaking even and box office success are actually two different things when it comes to box office.
And then I don't think it was well received critically. I can say that it was very long, and we thought the movie should have ended long before the actual ending of the thing. For regards to Snow White, I think Ziegler's great problem has been that she thinks herself a great intellect when she's barely starting her career. I think she should have focused more on that than on trying to tell us about how the prince was stalking Snow White, which I don't think he actually was, and how she was this she was going to make her into a great warrior princess when that's not the story, and it's never been the story. Really, sometimes silence is golden, and it's just best to concentrate on your career and just go focus on that. Rachel Zegler, for whatever reasons, decided that she was going to give us the insight of her great wisdom, and she's like, what, barely in her 20s, so she's not that well versed in the world. It was a mistake, and I think the Disney people really should have just told her, keep it down. But she knew, she knows more than the rest of us, and it's a shame. I don't dislike Rachel Zegler. I don't think she's great, but I think she could develop into something. But she just seemed determined to use her platform. And that's the problem with a lot of personalities. They are absolutely convinced that I need them to tell me what to think and how to feel about any and all things. I don't think I need them. I respect I respect older stars who talked about their politics, but they were few and far between. For every Myrna Loy, you had a James Stewart. You didn't need to have this endless cacophony from a youngster to tell me about, how weird it is to have this prince fall in love with this girl. It just sounded very strange. It sounded very arrogant, and she's doing more damage to herself. So my advice to her would be, silence is golden. We don't really need to know everything that comes through your head. Just, calladita te ves más bonita, mija. Since when she speaks Spanish, I presume she speaks Spanish, she knows what that means. Calladita te ves más bonita.
I'm gonna deport you one of these days. Cider, what do you think about this?
I'm going to be hiding in someone's.
That Rachel Zegler does not speak Spanish.
Like Selena Gomez.
She fucking bitched about it during the interviews of West Side Story.
Well, she did say that we need that. That was the reason we didn't need subtitles. That we should all learn Spanish. And I'm going. I know Spanish, and I'm not particularly thrilled with the translations. And you needed to have translations because not everyone speaks Spanish, although apparently they should. But don't worry, I'm not going to. Sorry, Jacob. I already have someone who's going to hide me for the next 4 years.
I hope they have a strong attic. Cider, what do you think about this story? Yeah, we're going to you last.
Hamburger, 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 hamburger,
Are you
Yes.
Is
the best burgers.
Cheeseburger, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac.
Is that from Dune? Is that from like the planet where they're bringing up the emperor?
They're getting the sandworms. They're getting the sandworms with it.
Yes, that was the guy from Dune doing all that.
Dude, I totally want to go get some Satan burgers now.
Just for the record, Americans don't speak English well. They talk good English.
Okay, there's an opinion. Why did they go out of their way and make Gal Gadot so tall and Rachel Zegler so short?
I think that's their natural height.
But they had to do something.
Height is a thing.
Right, but they had to have done something. Like, why'd they make the camera go all underneath, and it looked like I was towering Mordor? Like, what the hell is this?
Well, it does kind of beggar the thought that Gal Gadot would be jealous of Rachel Zegler in the beauty department.
I think Rachel Ziegler thought she was going to make a remake of the other Snow White, that Snow White and the Hunter movie that came out in like 2010.
And that one had, and that was Kristen Stewart as a warrior princess. Remember, they tried to make Snow White into some sort of warrior princess.
Yeah.
And what happened in the sequel?
Then she slept with the director and then got to kick herself off the sequel.
And then the sequel,
I would rather
the sequel and a prequel, they focused on the Huntsman and not on Snow White.
They were trying to make a franchise out of that movie. Then Kirsten Stewart slept with the director and ruined everything.
It's a terrible idea.
I mean, here's the thing. In all honesty, folks, I would rather catch dysentery and fucking die from it in my home, shitting in my chair, than go to the theaters and watch Snow White at this point.
TMI
Speaking of poop, there's one way we can end the show here tonight. We're going to poop noises.
This is bullshit.
Ethan, it is all jokes. I love you, man. This is great content.
Thank you.
Just kidding, Ethan. Suck my gravy balls, you little shit-headed soup 2.0. Fuck you, Ethan. Fuck the other guy. I wore a helmet as a kid and I'm not even close to looking as bad as Brandon, so Ethan defiantly must have had a brick instead.
This is what they play in the Bohemian Grove, like over and over and over again.
Just the sound of people defecating.
Mm-hmm. With the gorillas dancing in the
visual
background.
torture I mentioned.
Mm-hmm. That was literally what we were listening to, like for a good 10 minutes before we started the show. It was hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't think there's anything more I could say about this story that we haven't already said. This movie is gonna flop. There's too many people who hate this movie, hate the actresses that are involved with this movie. The whole story. This is probably one of Disney's biggest mistakes, and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of them. And I don't know, maybe next week we'll talk about it in the context of not only is this movie going to flop and lose a lot of money for Disney, just like Captain America flopped and lost a lot of money. ESPN just lost the Major League Baseball because Major League Baseball was not happy with their coverage, because when you turn on ESPN, they're talking about LeBron James all day. So Major League Baseball is like, well, screw this, we'll go somewhere else. And now the UFC is very upset with ESPN too, because they just had a pay-per-view last Saturday, and there was a lot of streaming issues on ESPN side, and their deal's coming up very soon here too. So they might end up going either Amazon or Netflix in the next year. So ESPN is literally falling apart in and of itself, and that was like the one somewhat decent financial thing Disney had under its umbrella, but even that's slowly dying as we speak. So,
well, there's been a lot of issues with streaming services struggling. Netflix couldn't do the WWE. Hulu dropped the Oscars right before they announced Best Picture, and now this, it's just bizarre how they keep making one disaster after another with the streaming services, and they want us all to go to streaming, but yet they can't get anything right.
The only streaming app that I actually legitimately pay for at this point is Discovery Plus. That's it. I can watch all 39 seasons of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives and be completely satisfied with the $9 a month that I spend on that whole thing.
Is that including the episode where Gene Hackman just pops up randomly?
Yeah, that one too. Kid Rock was there as well. They even, and I'm not even making this up, I know it sounds like a joke, they legitimately went to Comic Ping Pong Pizza in one of their episodes. Go look it up. It actually happened.
And that's another day of temptation with pizza mentioning that I have defeated. Thank you, Jake. Yep.
So
for
that's
those of
it.
you who don't know, my New Year's resolution is no pizza for a year. And I've maintained that one.
Best of luck. Best of luck.
Oh, I'm still doing it.
Good.
You've only got like what, 9 more months to go?
Yeah,
it's already March.
You'll be counting down through the month already. Midnight on the 31st. 31st.
I've lost 20 pounds, by the way.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
See, you can do it, Orange. I believe in you.
No soda, no
would it
pizza,
be...
no candy.
There we go. Just cut that crap out. You've learned how much better you feel. So it'd be a dick move to just play this video just real quick.
Did you know they have one of the only copper-covered, wood-fired French pizza ovens, a Le Pagnol, at this place where they're doing off-the-hook pizza? This is Pizzeria Lola.
A lot of unusual flavors.
Mashroni up. I'm a Chicago boy. I know my pizza. This is right up there with the best.
I mean, hey, she makes a good pie. That's all I gotta say there.
Cider's still backstage. I'm willing to bet he's the one that brought that up.
I thought that was like a thin Drew Carey that they were interviewing just randomly.
No, that was Guy Fieri. That's the mayor of Flavortown. Damn it.
No, the other guy, the one that was wearing the glasses and talking there.
Yeah, no one cares about that guy. So that's it. That's it for tonight's show. So let's go ahead and give you guys the floor here so we can get out of here. Our good buddy Rick, what do you got coming up?
I'm finishing up my Exorcist retrospective, so I think I've got one more, The Believer, to watch. I don't think I'll be able to watch the TV show. That and more reviews, and yeah, I probably will end up watching a lot of the movies that nobody wants to see, like Snow White. Maybe I'll check out some David Lynch movies, and yeah, that's it. Just more reviews and trying to avoid ice. That's pretty much it.
Ice, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Vanilla ice, baby. Orange, what's going on with you? What you got coming up? Did he just freeze?
Well,
there you go. You're kind of still there now.
Okay, I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah. So yeah, Tuesdays I do theme streams, March Madness, basically characters that go insane in movies, and it's basically a psycho eval on them. I believe this is the second week in March. So the next 2 weeks I will not be on the bar room. I unfortunately have to compete with them next week. I'm going to be on X exclusively for my singles with my friend Jade Shadow, where we're going to be talking Over the Hedge and Fern Gully because it's animated in green for the theme. And then Wednesdays, I'm going to be talking Shrek 1 and 2 on her channel, Orange Hat Uncensored. However, I may not be doing them in the next couple of weeks due to scheduling shortages that I have. But yeah, other than that, also Sundays are the weekly recap where I kind of do what we do here, but a little different. And also the 23rd or Sunday the 23rd, we're having a special guest on our channel. So yeah, stay tuned for that one.
All right then. Eddie Brock, welcome back. What do you got going on?
What do I do? I went to the mountains for like the past couple of months, and I've been digging snow. I go up to Paradise and I dig snow for like 2 months to get ready for harvest and everything. Because we're gonna recycle everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, I can't say it out loud, so I'm just gonna tamp about it. But yeah, I came down here for two things. I came back down to one, show up here, and two, last week I went to go see the art, maybe not the best.
You're kind of buzzing in and out there. No, perhaps I should have just ended like with Rick, because it's like he seems to be the only person with like a semi-decent like internet connection here in the last couple of minutes. So maybe Rick will be our new co-host. But now then again, that would be terrible if I do that, because then everyone's gonna want Rick on the show more. God, what this is.
If I ever go down to Texas with Rick or to visit Rick, you guys are gonna do the Barroom podcast. I'm gonna kick in his door and say you're under arrest.
For what?
Just to fuck with you, just to fuck with you.
Well, yeah, good luck in breaking the doors. You know, I'll try to find some of my cousins from the Mexican mafia.
Well, let's go ahead and say this. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. If you have not seen my last episode of the Bible Lens, where we talk about the next pope, because it looks like Pope Francis probably is not going to last that much longer, the next pope being the last pope, go into our deep dive on that episode that was last Sunday. And I don't know, maybe go back and look at the 5-week series I did on Satanic Panic, and maybe you guys stop believing the mainstream lies about how that whole thing went down. I did a 5-week episode breaking it out in great detail about what was going on during that time period. So go check that out. This coming week on the Bible Lens on Sunday, there's this interim president in Syria right now who's getting a lot of attention. He's going around making himself known to the Arabic world at the moment, and who knows, he could be the person who gets known on the worldwide stage. We're going to ask the question whether this guy, Ahmed El-Sahar, is going to end up being the literal Antichrist. And I know that sounds weird saying that in face value. Check out Sunday's episode. You probably won't be thinking that much after you hear what I have to say there. So go check that out on Sunday. Next week, we'll be back here. I got a bunch of movie reviews coming out on Bounty and Comics in the mix as well. I gotta get time to get that edited. And then, of course, tomorrow night, I should be with Cider, Spencer, and Nerdigans for 01 as well. So that's all the stuff I got working in here tonight. To all of our guys who have joined us for tonight's episode, I thank you absolutely for being here. And I feel like instead of getting an outro to this show, just a typical like outro adios goodbye, we're just gonna watch the rest of this pizza clip and then we're gonna end the show. So let's just go ahead and do this one. Thank you guys for joining us here. We're gonna leave a little more food here.
Off with some fresh ground California tomatoes.
Stanislaus?
Yes. How'd you guess?
From Cali.
Yeah. Oh yeah, west side. And then Stanislaus, red pear tomatoes, tomato puree, salt, dried basil, dried oregano, granulated garlic, a little bit of onion powder. Whisk her up.
Wish I could get some of this to go. Next up.
Let's make a macaroni.
No throw?
No, that's just for show.
You don't believe centrifugal force has anything to play in it?
Maybe, but you know, this is just a 9-inch pizza.
Oh, okay. Well.
The house red sauce, Wisconsin, mozzarella, fennel sausage that we made earlier. Natural casing pepperoni.
Audio bypass. Adios.
Stick it in the oven.
So we're running the deck right around, what'd you say?
Between 550, 600.
Okay.
Yep. They cook fast. You don't have to wait long for a pizza pie here.
Still a final crisp on it?
Oh, yeah. All right.
Look at that right there. Look how thin that is. We got this heirloom pork with the real fat and the real flavor, and the fennel's rocking this. A lot of people say, oh, sausage and pepperoni. I've had that all the time. This is way beyond your everyday pizza joint on the corner, sausage and pepperoni. You gotta try this one.
It's the most heightened, delicious pepperoni sausage pizza you've ever had. You're like, this is what pepperoni is supposed to taste like.
With kindness.